Dan River's going to receive. Altavista wins the toss as usual. I don't know how they do that. Somebody from that Altavista captain squad needs to go to Vegas and play roulette, because the Colonels are much better than 50% on that coin toss, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they always defer and try for that number one to get that first defensive stop, get the field flipped, and then, theoretically you get an extra possession in the second half. So we'll see how that works for the Colonels here against this highly potent Dan River offense.
Yeah, very, very good Dan River offense. So good we haven't even mentioned their defense, but they're pretty good too. A lot of those same guys in the backfield running the ball for Dan River are in the defensive backfield, if you will, playing linebacker, that kind of thing. They also got big Kamani Fitz, who is headed to Cincinnati next year, and he will join, of course, Altavista zone Darrell Jordan there on the Bearcats. So it's not just you don't just have to have the last name Edmonds to be a Division I ball player down here at Dan River. They've got some other guys that can really play as well.
Yeah, they have, and again, Coach Farrell Edmonds and his staff does a great job of developing these players. They've really turned this Dan River program around from what it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, he really has since he's taken over. It took a few years in there, a couple 4 and 6 seasons, but lately Coach Edmonds and his guys have really got the ball rolling. And now it looks like we're about set to tip off, if you will. Again, Colonels won the toss and deferred, so the Wildcats will get the ball to start the ball game.
And, one of the things that we haven't mentioned a lot is we haven't mentioned at all tonight, the kicking game. Dan River has a very strong kicker in Ethan Driscoll. He was consistently putting the ball at the goal line on kickoff tries in warm-ups, and, of course, Walker Allen does the same thing for the Colonels. So that could play an important role tonight.
Yeah, and you saw the kicking game last week. I mean, and not just Walker Allen missing the field goal there at the end, missing it by inches, we will add as well, and there are some people who thought it was good. But the kicking game for the Hawks, they were without their normal kicker, and maybe that, not even maybe, I think that definitely factored into Coach Saunders' decision in going for 2 there at the end. It ends up working out for the Hawks, obviously, but you see just how important the kicking game really is.
That's right, and Walker Allen's got the ball on the tee, and we are just about to start here at Dan River.
Get Colonels in their road white jerseys, black and orange numerals, got the black and orange stripe around the shoulders, orange pants tonight, and, of course, the black helmet with the orange A. Dan River in the royal blue with the white, and Oscar mentioned it. A lot of guys got some pink on, whether it's the socks or the wristbands, or a couple guys even got some pink on the shoes. Here's the boot from Walker Allen. Pretty good kick. Going to get fielded on about the 5-yard line. Wildcats are going to start up the right sideline. This is Edmonds. Edmonds has got some room on that right sideline. He's got some bodies on him, and he's finally drugged to the ground there. Shook off 1 or 2 initial tackles, but a good return for the Wildcats, and that is pretty far away from us. It looks like they're going to start on about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. As I look down to see, there are no markers on the yardage markers on this side of the field. They are all on the other side of the field. And, it's a good little distance away from us, so bear with us as we try to determine exactly where the yardage is tonight.
Yeah, no numbers painted on the field either, but that's not that uncommon in high school football. And it looks like Edmonds is a tailback here. He's got 2 fullbacks in front of him and 2 tight ends. He'll take the handoff. He goes right side. He's cut down after a small gain right there. Good run by Edmonds. Juan Thornhill on the tackle. And again, that is Terrell Edmonds. He's not the only one out there, but he will be the guy getting the bulk of the carries. Looked like number 13, Zamar Anderson, just a freshman under center that time for the Wildcats.
Well, they will use him at quarterback, and that was a gain of 5. Colonels are stacking 8 in the box. We thought we would see that, but again, on that play, they stacked 8 in the box, trying to make sure that they can stop this highly potent Dan River offense.
Yep, and Thornhill, who is normally a safety, is only about 5 yards off the ball. Looks like a trap play to the fullback that time. Nice gain of about 2 there on a quick hitting play there, quick hitting give to the first man through the fullback. I think that was Manny Saunders. He's another one of those ball carriers, although it may have been number 12, Hunter Pace.
But it was, and you're going to call it a gain of a long one, maybe 2. Nice tackle by Ashton Robinson, who made the initial contact. But looked like he was going to spin away from him, but Ashton held on, was dragging him down when he got some help. Brings up 3rd and about 4.
Yeah, 2 Johnson brothers down in a 4-point stance now for the Colonels. Same formation, 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks for the Wildcats. Went with a hard count. It looks like Altavista jumped across that line. Let's see what the official call is. If the penalty is on the Colonels, that'll be enough for a first down for Dan River.
Of course, that bit them last week against Gretna. Rosser was able to pull them off on that play at least 3 times, and I think I had it documented at 4. and it was Claudel Moon that jumped on this right-hand side. Brings up a 1st and 10 from the Colonels for the Dan River Wildcats at the 46-yard line.
Yep, penalty does go against Altavista, you mentioned last week. And, of course, if you're a Colonel fan, you're used to Juan Thornhill using that hard count to his advantage and getting 5 free yards that way. No rule that says the other teams can't do it as well. Same formation. Actually, they're going to go with 1 wide out this time. Just 2 backs behind Anderson, the quarterback. They put that wide out in motion. That's number 1, Dalen Lottie. Here comes the toss play to Edmonds. Edmonds cuts it back inside. Hit hard by a couple Colonels. Now there's a host of them there. Bunch of guys in on that one. Jacob Hawkins, Juan Thornhill. Davy Jones was in to help out. And then also looked like Dante Poindexter on the stop as well.
Yeah, he was. And Dante's getting a little bit more time on defense tonight with the absence of Dustin Brown. They're actually stacking him up not in a non-traditional linebacker position. He's almost like a up defensive end. So really unique defensive formation tonight for the Colonels.
Well, Mike Revis has never been afraid to try new things, and when a team is good at something, you got to try and take it away. New tailback this time is Stevens. They're going to put Terrell Edmonds in motion. They hand it to on the jet sweep. No, they fake and give it to Stevens. Stevens spin move. He's running for a first down. Drops just beyond the first down, but a good gain there on the misdirection play. They faked it to Edmonds, and then they gave it to Stevens, who found a nice hole on the right side there and up for a first down pickup. Fresh set of downs. 0-0 our score. 9:39 to play here in the Apple Market first quarter.
That was a very deceptive play. A lot of options, a lot of nice ball handling. Stevens did get that carry, brought it down to the 42-yard line, and nice open drive here by Dan River.
Tremaine Edmonds and Terrell Edmonds. Actually, it's Lottie again on this side. Looks like Edmonds is going to take a breather. They give it to Stevens again. Stevens stops in the backfield, and they've got a Colonel holding on right there. That's Donovan Montague right there, number 3 on the tackle for a loss. Great penetration there by Donovan. A nice job bringing him down.
Yeah, Donovan got him up high. Claudio Moon down low. Was able to hang on to his shoelaces. And Victor caught a loss of about 2. Brings up 2nd and 12. Nice play by the Colonels on that.
Yep, first time they've stopped the Wildcats for negative yards this game, although it's still early, just under 9 minutes to go here. 0-0, Dan River hosting Altavista in this Dogwood District matchup. We'll still call it a Dogwood District matchup. 1 receiver to each side, 1 tight end to the quarterback's left. He puts that receiver in motion. That's Lottie. Lets him go all the way through. Passing play here. He's got a man over there on that side. Michi Malback with a nice tackle. Malback read it well. That was Tremaine Edmonds on the catch. I don't know if he got a gain, Oscar.
Yeah, he might have picked up a yard, but Michi Malback was that little wide-out screen, and Michi had a full head of steam, got him down low, held him up, and the Colonels had help from Juan Thornhill, and one of the Johnson brothers was over as well.
Yep, they give them a little bit of progress, a yard there. They almost got it back to the original line of scrimmage, so we'll call it 3rd and a long 10. They're on about Altavista's 41-yard line, right hash mark, far hash mark from us, and the Wildcats are going right to left from our vantage point. Twin receivers to the left side, tight end to the right, high formation, under center. Anderson's going to give it to Edmonds. Edmonds stops. He runs out of 1 tackle. Tried to make a juke move, and he dropped himself. Nobody really tackled him there for the Colonels. Just lost his footing. It's not a wet field out there, and it hasn't rained any lately. It doesn't look like we're going to get any rain tonight. This will bring up 4th and 5. I think Terrell Edmonds just slipped on his own momentum there.
Well, he did. He was trying to make a move against the Altavista defenders, and if he'd executed that move, it would have been trouble for the Colonels, but he just didn't have his feet from under him a little bit out in front, like a downhill skier, and he slipped and brings up 4th and 5, and Dan River's going for it.
Terrell Edmonds, the tailback, Fitz is right in front of him as a fullback, and it's Zamar Anderson under center. They hand it to Edmonds. Edmonds needs 5. He stopped at the line of scrimmage, drives ahead for a few more, but he looks short. Oscar will wait to see where the ball is spotted. But definitely from our vantage point, this looks like it's going to be a 4th down stop by the Colonels and a turnover on downs, Altavista football.
Yeah, it is. And
they're going to look at it, but he's a full yard short.
Yeah, I can't believe they're going to bring the chains out.
Yeah, he thought about it, but they were with you. They said, well, Oscar Briggs thinks he's a full yard short.
He was closer to 2.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he really was closer to 2. Great stop there for the Altavista Colonels defense. Dan River was putting together a little bit of a drive. Altavista, bend but don't break. Not the first time we've seen that this year. They'll take over with 7:12 to play here in the Apple Market first quarter. Juan Thornhill's going to get his team set in the shotgun formation. 2 wide receivers each side. He's got Claudel Moon to his left. Juan looking over the defense on first down. Thornhill wants to throw. Got plenty of time. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Runs out of a tackle. Dumps it off to Demetrius Johnson. Johnson's got the catch going up left sideline. He's got it up for a first. He's got about a 25-yard pickup still on his feet. He loses momentum as a couple Dan River players stack him up. Awesome first passing play for the Colonels. Maybe not quite how they drew it up, but give Juan some credit for keeping the play alive.
No, he was looking for Navy Jones deep, and too much pressure to allow Juan to throw that ball. I thought he was going to get sacked, but he did a little check valve. Nice job by Demetrius coming back to get the ball. They're going to spot that at the 47-yard line. Altavista in business, Kyle.
Nice play right there. First down. They've broken the 50-yard line, so they're in Dan River territory. They put Navy in motion. Juan Thornhill was going to keep it himself, but a flag flies out. Play never got started. I imagine it's illegal procedure on the Altavista Colonel, so this will make it first and 15. It is 6:55 to play. 0-0 our score here.
You had one player in motion coming across, and before the ball was snapped, Juan got in motion himself, so that'll bring up first and 15.
Yeah, Juan getting a little extra head start there, and that's a no-no.
Unless you're in the CFL.
That's right, yeah, then it's anything goes up there north of the border. That's we don't have enough time on this broadcast to get into that. Thornhill's got first and 15 from that left hash mark. Two receivers each side. Let's see if they run maybe the same play and put Navy in motion again. They don't. Juan's going to try right tackle. Not much there. He gains 2 or 3. He's dropped by Kamani Fitz. The aforementioned Kamani Fitz there on a nice tackle.
Yeah, he got back. He got about 3.5 on that to bring up second down and 12. Nice job by Dan River containing Juan on that play. He was a couple steps from taking it 7 or 8 yards downfield.
Yeah, Kamani Fitz there playing the defensive end presents some problems to you if your coach Sharna's calling the plays, because it's hard to run a play in his direction because you can't block him, but it's also hard to run away from him because he's so quick. He'll run you down on the backside. So really kind of the same way Jarrell Jordan was when he was at Altavista, that kind of a dynamic player. Thornhill's got second and about 12. Barking out some signals will put Michi in motion, and the flag comes out again. This is delay a game on the Altavista Colonels. Well, it didn't seem like they took that much time, although it definitely wasn't the fastest Altavista's gotten the play out, that's for sure.
No, and we kind of got spoiled at Galax where we had that 25-second shot clock, play clock, and without it now, we're at loss. We're at the mercy of the officials on the field. And, the football players are as well, too. A little bit different dynamic. Brings up second, and we'll call it 16.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Altavista just over the 50-yard line now. Call it the Dan River 49-yard line. Here comes a shotgun snap on the way. A little low, waist high. Juan takes it and goes up the middle. He's got some room. He sort of slipped down as well, and then was hit around the shoulder pads by Stevens there with a nice shot. Juan held on to the football.
Yeah, nice job by Claudel Moon leading off. Clearing that hole up and getting a running lane for Juan, and Juan tried to stop and make a cut, and his feet went out from under him as well.
Boy, the initial blocking was very good, and then when Juan slipped, it was sort of like when Edmund slipped over here on the third down play, just sort of stopped everything in its tracks.
3rd and 12 from about the 49-yard line.
Again, Colonel's on the road. We are here in Ringgold. Never an easy place to play. 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Juan's going to throw it up. Looking down left sideline. Ball hangs up. He was looking for Demetrius Johnson again. Ball falls incomplete. Good coverage by the Wildcat. It looked like Tremaine Edmonds out there at cornerback. This brings up 4th down, and it looks like the Colonels want a punt from the Dan River 49-yard line.
And that's the right play. That's the right play.
Yeah, nothing wrong with playing the field position game here early if you can pin Dan River back deep. Even if you do punt it in the end zone, you make the Wildcats start on their own 20, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah, that's right. Walker may try to angle this out of bounds away from the Dan River returners.
It looks like Malcolm Ware back deep for the Wildcats. And, again, speaks to their depth and their athleticism. We've named a lot of different skill guys for Dan River already, and we're only about a little over halfway through this first quarter. Snap to Walker. Allen's a little high, but he's got time to get it off, and he gets off a very nice booming punt. Ware fields it on the run. Colonel's coverage isn't bad. Montague missed the first tackle, but Demetrius Johnson is there to run Ware out of bounds, and it looks like around the 30-yard line. So about a 10-yard return for the Dan River Wildcats. I think the Colonels will be pleased with the way they got that 4th down punt off.
Well, that's right. It was about a 40-yard punt with a 10-yard return, so the Colonels will take that 30-yard punt with a 10-yard return, and they'll take that. And Ware has taken a couple to the house on returns this year, so first down and 10 from their own 30. So Dan River back No score. 4 minutes, 30 seconds here left in the first quarter.
Dan River going to go with the tight end. 2 wide receivers to this left side. I formation again. Looks like Stevens in the backfield. They toss it out to him to the left. Moo's going to try and run him down. He can't get there now. He does grab him from the backside. 4 or 5 yard gain there as Claudel Moon did a nice job stringing that one out. Never really allowed Stevens to turn the corner and get upfield, but a decent gain for the Wildcats on the left.
Yeah, they're going to call it a gain of 4, and that was a nice play. I'm a little concerned when I look at that on this wide side. Tremaine Edmonds is 6'4". Navy Jones at about 5'6", covering a huge mismatch if they decide to throw the ball and take advantage of that.
Yeah, the height definitely favors the Wildcats, and that's something, particularly down around the goal line, that can be hard to stop. You just kind of throw it up there like a basketball rebound, let the bigger guy come down with it. They fake it to Stevens, and it's a reverse to Terrell Edmonds. Michi Malbeck had an angle on it, but he lost him. Let's see if Lon Thornhill can run him down. Lon does lasso him down, throws him to the turf by his shoulder pads. Wide receiver reverse there. They faked to Stevens. Terrell Edmonds took it around right side out wide and just outran pretty much the whole Altavista defense until Thornhill came in and put a stop to it.
Gained to about 32 as they were able to get down to the 34-yard line. Their own 34, and the Altavista 34, excuse me. 1st and 10.
3 minutes and 30 seconds to play here in the Apple Market first quarter. Of course, check out the specials all game long at all 3 Apple Market locations: Gateway, Main Street, and Riverside. Fresh set of downs here from the right hash mark. Stevens is the tailback again. He's got Kamani Fitz ahead of him as the fullback. Jamar Anderson under center, puts a man in motion. They give it to the tailback. That's Stevens. Stevens goes up the middle, bounces it right side a little bit. Not a whole lot of room there. He tried to drive his feet for some extra, but he's tackled by about 3 or 4 Colonel defenders. Let's see if we can get some numbers as they get off the pile. I think Ashton Robinson's in on, and I think Dante Poindexter in on as well.
Thornhill and Claudel Moon, and it's a beautiful night here.
It is.
A little bit of a breeze, not windy at all.
Rain has stayed away. I think that was an issue a lot of people were concerned about, last night, but certainly the forecast changed a little bit. It really is a nice, beautiful fall evening, like you said. Couldn't ask for a much better night to play football. 2nd and 7 now for the Wildcats. Bar hash mark, 2.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Defensive struggle early. Altavista's punted, and they've made Dan River go 4 and out. They give it to Stevens. They faked it a few times before they gave it to him. Gains about 1 or 2 there. Not a whole lot there. Stout Altavista defense. Demetrius Johnson, I think, was the one that tripped him up around the line of scrimmage. Then he fell forward for a yard or 2.
Yeah, Darius cleaned it up. So the Johnson brothers both involved with that tackle. Brings up 3rd and 5.
Colonel's got the 4 and out, got the turnover on downs. It wasn't a 4 and out, but they did stop him on 4th down here around this area before. So let's see if the Altavista defense can do the bend but don't break thing again. 2 wide receivers to Anderson's right. He's going to put 1 in motion. That's Edmonds. Handoff wasn't very good, but he managed to grab it. And look at Demetrius Johnson with the hand around the jersey, drops him, and that brings a nice applause from that Altavista contingent has made their way down from Ringgold. Why wouldn't? A nice solo tackle there. Even if it wasn't textbook form, he got him on the ground.
Well, it doesn't matter. He did keep him on the ground. Loss of 2. They'll bring up 4th and 7. And, of course, at the 30-yard line, obviously they'll go for it here. Although the field goal kicker does have plenty of range to be able to knock that in.
Yeah. This would probably be at the max end of his range. But you certainly couldn't fault Coach Edmonds for trying it. It looks like he's going to send the offense back out there. Tailback this time is Malcolm Ware. He's got 2 Edmonds out there to his right, does Anderson. Under center. Here comes the passing play. Anderson rolling right, looking deep in the end zone. Malbeck fell over. Touchdown to catch.
It's offensive pass.
I think it's going to be offensive pass interference. You're right. Tremaine Edmonds, I think, just kind of shoved Malbeck down. I said he fell over, but as soon as I said that, you and I both saw what unfolded there. And I'll see if the official gets the call right.
Michi Malbeck had great position, was actually in front of Edmonds as if he was the receiver, and Edmonds knocked him to the ground. Nice throw from the freshman quarterback.
It really was. Zamar Anderson, a freshman quarterback, he rolled back, had plenty of time, and just laid that thing up in the end zone. This is going to go against Dan River. Offensive pass interference. So kudos to the official for being in the right spot and getting the call right, because honestly, you don't see the offensive pass interference called much in high school, Oscar, so that's a good play right there and a good call. It's going to back Dan River way up with 1 minute exactly to go in the first quarter. It's going to make it about 4th and 25, and I think they're going to be forced to punt now from the Altavista 45-yard line is where this ball will be snapped from.
Yeah, it is, and obviously this brings them into a punt situation. They're in formation now. One Malback back alone for the Colonels.
Yeah, sometimes they put Navy back there with them. Oh, Altavista almost got to that kick. Nice high-hanging punt. Michi's going to let it drop. It lands on about the 12, bounces backwards, takes about a 5-yard Dan River roll, and the Wildcats will down it on the Altavista 9-yard line. So a nice kick there by Ethan Driscoll, guy that Oscar talked about. It definitely gives his team a nice boost with a good punt, dropping it in there, and gave his kick coverage team a lot of time to get down there and get after it.
Yeah, just as we had said that it wasn't too breezy, it just started getting a little windy up here on the scaffolding now.
Well, yeah, we're up here high above the atmosphere. I mean, it's like when you climb Mount Everest, the air is thin up here, so it seems a lot colder. Colonels kind of scrimmage this one from their own 9-yard line, right hash mark. Got to be careful anytime you're in the shadow of your own goalpost like this. Juan has 2 wide receivers each side. Thornhill barking out some extra signals, taking a little bit of time again.
Hope it's not too much.
And they got one delay a game already. Faked it to Malback in motion. He goes right up the middle. Juan had a nice hold. Now he's stacked up by 2 or 3 Dan River defenders. It looks like Tremaine Edmondson there on the top, among other people. And we'll call it a 5-yard game. Good pickup by Juan Thornhill going right up behind the center.
Yeah, put Malback in motion again. Did that little fake handoff, and that seemed to freeze the linebackers. Nice hold by that offensive line again and picked up 5 yards.
Yep, center Ken Brumfield was a guy that Coach Sharnes has mentioned in a couple of his pregame interviews. Great snap, and then after that, he's doing some nice work blocking after the play, which is a beautiful thing when your center is also one of your better blockers. 2nd and 5 on the way. Thornhill looking over the defense again. Balanced formation with Moon to his left. He'll give it to Moon. Moon's going to go left side. Clydell Moon with some hard running. He took some initial contact and just kept driving, Oscar. Dropped at about the 20-yard line, but that's enough for a first down.
Yeah, they're going to mark it over to almost at the 22. Nice driving by Clydell. A little bit of a cutback. We talked about that on the ride down, that Clydell is certainly capable of being a workhorse and taking a majority of the carries on this.
Into the first quarter, and we're right where we started. 0-0 is our score here from Ringgold. Altavista football with a fresh set of downs when we come back for the second quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Tonight's game is brought to you by these members of the KD Country Sports Club.
Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, priced right, financing available. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street.
Aubrey Rosser Law Firm, Altavista. First choice for any and all legal advice. Services go way beyond court trials and settlements.
Diane's Hair Creations in Altavista, creating hairstyles for every lifestyle. 283-1111. That's 283-1111.
El Cerrito, Altavista. Throw on a sombrero. Shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only at El Cerrito.
Shop Main Street Trading Company, Altavista, where quality and affordability go hand in hand.
Sharky's Pest Control in Hurt. Let Tony take a bite out of your pest control needs. Doing business the old-fashioned way to keep you coming back.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Award-winning high school sports coverage on 105.5 KD Country. Broadcasting live from Dan River High School in the English's Triple E Reynolds press box, if you will, Mr. Briggs. And it is a great vantage point up here from the scaffolding. Again, Brent Donnie doing a fantastic job hooking us up. And the Colonels so far have done a pretty good job. 0-0 score. We're right where we started the ball game. Defensive struggle, as both defenses have kind of done a bend but don't break routine.
Well, that's right. The Colonels have moved the ball a little bit early, but had a couple penalties.
Davy Jones in motion. They give it to Moon. Moon's going to go up the middle. He had some room, but was dragged down by number 50. And that is Andre Garland, number 50, for the Dan River Wildcats. Good tackle there.
Yeah, it was. Clydell continues to drive those legs. He textbook continues to drive. He's a strong kid. Picked up 2 yards out of really nothing.
Yeah, he and Destin Brown have really been a two-headed monster in that backfield for the Altavista Colonels. Destin maybe a little bit more breakaway speed, but Moon definitely not short on speed, and he is a hard runner, too. Not to say that Destin isn't, but each guy sort of brings their own things to the table. Juan wants to throw. He's looking to swing out to Michi Malback, but Malback was covered. Now he runs out. It looks like it's Navy Jones down right sideline. It does hook up with him. Great pass and catch. And Juan Thornhill, super play to keep that alive.
Well, it was, and it was a great job by Navy Jones adjusting his pattern. Once Thornhill rolled out, Navy saw what was happening, got behind his defender. I thought the ball could possibly be intercepted, but nice touch by Juan getting it over the defender's head. Big pickup for the Colonels.
Yeah.
As they are cross midfield down to the Dan River 49.
First down pickup on the pass play. Smart play all the way around by both Thornhill and Navy Jones. Like you said, once Canavis saw that Juan was scrambling out of the pocket and didn't exactly have the set play working, he broke up that left sideline, ended up hauling in a nice catch. Thornhill's going to go with trip receivers to his right. Moon to his right as well. He hands it off to Clydell. Clydell couldn't get in behind pulling guard. Ashton Robinson was trying to get there to block that guy, but Moon just ended up sort of running into Ashton, and the play got blown up in the backfield. Good penetration by the Dan River D-line.
Yeah, spread out the defenders, tripped wide, and came with a counter to the left, and Dan River was all over that. I don't know if they've seen that on film, but that was going nowhere.
Well, again, when you got great defensive linemen, guys like Kamani Fitz, who is a Division I scholarship type of guy, sometimes even if you do have the play drawn up well, it's not going to work out. Altavista taking a little time to get this second down play in. It's going to be about 2nd and 11, 10 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the Apple Market second quarter, 0-0. Still our score. Shotgun snap to Juan Thornhill. Juan wants the pass. Looking deep. Now he's going to bounce out of the pocket. Flag comes out. I think it's going to be a hold on Altavista. Juan's got the play alive still, though. He's got to throw it. He does fire it. Caught by Demetrius Johnson. Johnson picks up about a 4-yard gain after the catch. They'll actually say it's about a 2-yard gain. But the flag came out a long time ago, and I think it's probably a hold on one of the Altavista O linemen off.
It certainly is in that area where they'll call a hold. And it looks like it might be even a block, a crackback block where you had a player that's engaged and a second player comes in and makes a block down low. And that, for the safety of the players, is illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're talking to Dan River right now. I think they're asking them what they want as far as the result and all that kind of stuff goes. But then again, they're talking to the Colonels, too.
Well, I think the official, I'm going to give kudos to the official. I don't know exactly what was going on, but he looked like he was giving an explanation to the Colonels' offensive line as exactly what the call was and why it was called. And that's exactly what it was.
Yep, you're right. They called the block below the waist, but I think you're exactly right. I think one guy was engaged up high. Somebody else came in low. And you can't do that. You can double team a guy all you want to, but both guys have to stay up high. You can't have one high and one low. And this is going to set the Colonels way back because I think it's 15 from the spot of the foul, and I think it was about 5 yards deep in the backfield when it happened.
Yeah, it brings up second, and
they got 27 listed on the scoreboard. Might be a little generous to the Colonels. It might be more like second and about 30. But anyway, let's see if Altavista can pick it up. They have picked up some of these long ones in the past. Thornhill wants to pass again, flushed out of the pocket. Now he just swings it over to Michi Malback. Malback's got a nice gain, spin move, dropped, gained about 15 there, and they got it back to what's going to be still a 3rd and long, probably 3rd and 15, but it's at least a little bit more manageable now.
Sure it is, and nice job by Thornhill. Again, a lot of pressure on him. Michi made the adjustment, was out in the flat, was open, caught the ball, secured it, and picked up about 12 yards.
Yeah, it was interesting the way the play developed. It was supposed to be a regular passing play. When Juan rolled out, it almost turned into an option kind of play between him and Michi Malback. It ended up working out well for the Colonels. We'll call it 3rd and 16. After they get it spotted, Altavista's going to snap it on their own 45-yard line. Juan had a back right behind him. I think that's Michi Malback. He's going to put Canavis Jones in motion. They'll flip it, little reverse play, inside reverse to Clydell Moon. It was an interestingly designed play. Didn't, I think, go for the big yards that the Colonels thought it would, but it was a gain of about 3 or 4. And this will bring up 4th down. I think the Colonels probably going to punt it away again.
Yeah, that was I think it was a nicely designed play. And if anything, the Colonels may have not been quite patient enough to let that develop. But Juan was getting some pressure. He needed to unload the ball and got it to Clydell on the inside.
Yeah, that's the only problem with those trick plays. Anytime an opponent gets in the backfield, it usually ends up hurting those kind of trickeration plays there, the little inside reverse that the Colonels tried. Going to be 4th and 12, Altavista coming out in the punt formation. Allen kicked a pretty good one in the first quarter. Snaps a little low, scoops it up off the ground, and this kick is pretty good as well. Line drive, end over end punt. Dan River's going to let it roll, and it looks like it's going to fall to a stop on about the 14-yard line. Ashley Robinson's down to cover, and he does down it. Kent Bromfield's down there as well, in on the cover, so another successful Walker-Allen punt.
And here we are, 7:55 remaining in the second quarter. No score here from Ringgold.
Well, how reminiscent of the Appomattox game is this? You know, everybody thought, too high-powered, potent offenses. They're just going to score and score and score. The guys are playing defense, too. The guys are fast on defense, too, you know.
Well, they absolutely are. And the drives that the Colonels have started to mount, the first parts of the drive, they've been able to start moving the ball, move the yardsticks for a couple of first downs, and then they've had significant penalties that have hurt them.
Yeah, penalties have really hurt Altavista. On the other side, Dan Rivers' offense, it seems like they've done the same thing. They get going, but it's not the penalties. It's just Altavista's D ends up making some big plays. Anderson under center again, I formation. He'll put Terrell Evans in motion. Boy, Edmonds looked like he might have been going forward as well. Stevens is dropped by Donovan Montague in the backfield. They tried the little toss play out there to the left. Donovan Montague, unblocked, just hit Stevens right in the knees, and he really made a great tackle right there.
Yeah, he did. Open field against one of the better running backs in this part of the state, and he cleaned his clock, dropped him for a loss of 4, brings up second 14. Donovan Montague filling in admirably for Dustin Brown in that position.
Well, we've seen Donovan play some serious defense this year, and like I always said, he is not just a backup quarterback. I mean, he is a sound, very good all-around football player. Showed it right there, 2nd and 15. Now 7:15 to play here in the second quarter. Anderson wants to pass. He's got a pretty good arm. Going to get flushed out of the pocket. Going to turn it up. Got a little bit of room to run, but not much there as the Altavista defense swarms on him. Ends up being a big scrum with about 12 players involved there in the middle of the field. They'll probably give him forward progress for about a yard or two, but not much else.
And it'll bring up 3rd and 13 or 14. Nice job by the secondary from the Colonels being able to keep those receivers covered. And a nice job by the front line getting some pressure and being able to almost drop him for a loss.
Yeah, good defensive play right there by the Altavista Colonels. Still can't get over what a great tackle Montague made there on that first down play, toss play. I mean, he just hit him right below the thigh pad. Great solo open field tackle. That last second down play was more of an all-around team defensive effort by everybody. 6.5 to go here in the first half. Subway halftime show guaranteed to be a good one. After this second quarter finishes up, who knows? We might be tied 0-0 then. We are now I formation, 2 wide receivers to Anderson's right. He's looking for Edmonds over the middle, going to throw to him. Altavista's got an interception. It looks like Darius Johnson. Johnson's going right sideline looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Altavista. Darius Johnson with the catch. No flags on the field on the interception there by Darius Johnson.
Got to be careful with the celebration. Yeah, the Colonels are excited, but what a great athletic play by Darius Johnson. Great coverage within that secondary. I didn't see anybody that was really open. He tried to loft that over Johnson. And for those of you that know Altavista Colonels, Johnson at 6'3", with a wingspan of about a 6'6" kid and can elevate like nobody. That just didn't flush. 6'6", 6'03" here. Colonels take the lead 6-0.
Anderson was looking for Tremaine Edmonds streaking across the middle, and Darius Johnson picked it on about the 20-yard line and took it to the house. Extra point up by Walker-Allen. Extra point good by Walker-Allen. Colonels couldn't score on offense. That doesn't matter. They scored on defense. They're up 7-0. 6:03 to play here in the second quarter when we come back on 105.5 KD Country.
Man, it's cold in here. What's wrong with your heater?
Well, it used to work pretty good.
Back in the 90s, just call Select Air and get it fixed.
Oh, it'll probably cost a lot of money.
No, it won't, because Donnie will give you a fair price and get it done right the first time.
Maybe I'll call Select Air tomorrow.
No, you will call Select Air today, because it's freezing in here.
Select Air, 841-1580. 841-1580. Online at selectair.webs.com. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
6:03 to play. Colonels score on the 20-yard interception return from Darius Johnson. You mentioned it. The whole team had great coverage out there. Darius just right man, right spot. Good job on the return.
Well, we did. And we talked to the coaching staff here before the game, and they said one of their keys was they were going to stack that box, and they were going to try to make Dan River do something that they didn't want to do. They weren't comfortable throwing the ball as they are running. looks like it paid big dividends here early in the first half.
I think you're right. Kudos to Mike Revis for his defensive game plan, and the whole coaching staff as well. But, loading that box up, trying to stop Dan Rivers' running game, daring them to throw the ball. Zamar Anderson, just a freshman back there under center, got a good arm, but you got to remember those freshmen sometimes, not always making the best decisions out there. I think you saw it there. I think he just tried to force that one in there.
Well, he's got a tremendously strong arm, but that was really kind of a touch pass where he tried to loft it over one receiver, over the defender, and again, wrong defender. David Jones, you might stand a chance. Darius Johnson, not a chance.
Allen on to kick it away. Walker converted the extra point. 7-0, Altavista lead. Looks like Terrell Edmonds back deep for the Wildcats. Got his heels on the 5-yard line. This is actually going to get fielded by one of the other returners, and he drops it there. That's number 1, Lottie. Lottie's going to take it up, and he hits it hard. Still on his feet, though. Let's see if Navy Jones can cut him down and make the tackle, and he does cut him down. Going to drop him at about the 5-yard line. Boy, the Colonels hit him hard once. He didn't go down. Navy Jones didn't matter. He brought him down the second time.
He tried to bounce outside, and then when we saw Navy running stride for stride from him, he's not going to outrun Navy Jones.
And it's Jan Latti on the return there, a junior, and like you said, he did a great job shrugging off the initial hit by the Colonels, but he was not going to outrun Canavis Jones. And this is going to give Altavista's defense another chance, I think, to sort of flex their muscle. I don't want to use the analogy that they smell blood in the water, but I think Altavista's defense is pretty hungry right here, as Dan Rivers is going to start from their own 7-yard line. The double fullback here for Dan River. Whistles come out here. I think the officials want to talk about some things. And Dan River wants to talk about some things. Coach Edmonds going to call a timeout. We'll take one as well. Just under 6 minutes to play. And the Colonels lead by 7. Right back after this on 105.5 KD Country.
Check out this week's in-store specials from the Apple Markets. Gatorade, 32-ounce size, 2 for only $3.33. Regular size Snickers, just 69 cents. And when you buy any size coffee, get a Moon Pie for only $1 at Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. Visit the Apple Market's convenience stores today. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels lead 7-0 here on 105.5 KD Country. Darius Johnson on the 20-yard interception return on Dan Rivers' last play from scrimmage. Been a total team effort, though, Oscar. I mean, we've called a bunch of names out already, and we've still got a lot of football to play here with just under 6 minutes to go in half.
Yeah, 5:54 remaining here in the first half. Colonels lead 7-0, and Coach Terrell Edmonds not happy with his personnel on that. There was a substitution made at the last minute that if he wouldn't have called timeout, it would have been a penalty. And when they're at the 7-yard line, you can't afford to take a half distance to the goal.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to start on the 2-yard line. Let's see if Altavista can get in the backfield. Maybe that'll happen anyway. They give it to Stevens. Stevens got some room on the right side here. Doesn't quite get a first down before he is dropped down. Let's see who gets off that pile for the Altavista Colonels. It's, of course, number 11, Juan Thornhill, making the stop. Ends up being about a 7-yard gain, though, so good pickup for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and we've seen several circumstances this year where the Colonels have had teams in deep, and Appomattox comes to mind with Blankenship being able to break that long run. So the Colonels need to be careful here. Second down and 3 from the 10-yard line.
You're right. Terrell Edmonds, the tailback this time, 2 fullbacks in front of him. Altavista got about a dozen guys, it looks like, stacked up on that D-line, and they do hit Edmonds in the backfield. Edmonds falls forward for about 1 or 2 yards. Give him credit for driving his feet, but a big stick right there in that backfield.
Looks like Daquan Myers was the first one to him. Jacob Hawkins not far behind, but again, Daquan made that initial contact and stood him up. Third, and we'll call it a long 2.
Yeah. Let's see if they just try and go straight ahead. We've seen Dan River give it to the fullback a time or two. Kamani Fitz is number 42. He's the first fullback in there. And they've also got Tremaine Edmonds in the backfield with brother Terrell Edmonds. They turn around, and they toss it to Terrell Edmonds. Edmonds trying to get outside. Not a whole lot there, and he is run down, big stop. Looks like Montague is in on the stop along with Thornhill and Demetrius Johnson. Darius Johnson wasn't far behind. It'll go as no gain, and it looks like the Wildcats going to have to punt it away. Another big stop by the Altavista D.
Another great job of swarming defense, and you got it right. Donovan Montague was there. Thornhill read the play but was trailing. Donovan Montague broke that up, made the initial contact, great job by the Colonels forcing this 3 and out here for Dan River.
Dan River's body language doesn't look good. I don't want to say they're in dejected mode yet, but they do not look happy walking over to that sideline. Michi Malbeck on the 50-yard line to return this kick. It'll get away, and it's not a very good one. It's kind of low, and it'll bounce out of bounds. Boy, it's not a good one at all. Altavista's going to have some great field position. They'll start on the Dan River 36-yard line here. That ball was semi-shanked. It went out of bounds in a hurry. Michi Malbeck had no chance to return it, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to be great field position.
No, it's about a 17-yard, 18-yard punt. So Colonels are in great position here with 3:49 remaining in the first half, and they'll start at the Dan River 35-yard line, and they're ready to go.
They're foaming at the mouth now. I think not exactly the kind of stuff that makes Coach Farrell Edmonds happy on that sideline. Juan Thornhill will have 3 wide receivers to his left. That's the wide side of the field. Moon is to his right. Juan's going to go right up the gut. He used Moon as a lead blocker. Fights off some tacklers, and then ends up going to get about a 4.5, 5-yard gain. Good hard running from Juan Thornhill, and another nice lead block again from Clydell Moon.
Yeah, it is a nice job. That same little quarterback delay that we see so often. Again, Clydell Moon, probably a little bit better blocker than Destin on that play. But again, nice job, brings up 2nd and 5.
Good blocking up front all night again. Ken Brumfield, the center. Guys like Clay Teagarden, Ashton Robinson from one of those guard spots. Whistle comes out. Looks like Altavista wants to take a timeout. They do. 3:11 to play here in the Apple Market second quarter. Colonels lead 7-0 on 105.5 KD Country.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
3:11 left to play here in the second quarter from Ringgold, Virginia. Altavista Colonels taking on the Dan River Wildcats. 7-0 is the Altavista Colonel lead. Interception returned by Darius Johnson. Colonel's offense has shown some flashes. They haven't really been able to put together many long, sustained drives, Oscar, but they haven't started with great field position like this yet either. So let's see what happens here on this 2nd and 5 play. Colonels would love to get a score before halftime because they're getting the ball at half.
Well, and we've seen them move the sticks. It's just they've had a couple of penalties that have taken them into some long yardage situations that they just couldn't manage.
Yep, Demetrius Johnson and Darius Johnson both down as tight ends. Shotgun formation, though, for the Colonels. They'll motion Michi Malbeck over here to the left, passing play, looking for Malbeck. Michi turning it up left sideline. This ball looks a little underthrown. Michi battled for it. Ball's incomplete. Nice coverage. Malbeck was double covered. Give him some credit for getting up there and battling. He was going against Malcolm Ware and also John Garland in on the coverage as well.
Well, and even in the double coverage, he was able to get up and get his hands on the ball. It would have been a tremendous catch, but he went up between the two of them and was able to get his hands on the ball. He had the opportunity to catch it. Nice throw by Juan as well.
Yeah, it was a nice tight spiral. He was thrown all the way across the far side of the field, and Juan really put it where it needed to be. Maybe perhaps a little underthrown, but it was definitely a long throw. And Juan stood in there and threw it pretty accurately. 3rd and 5 here. 2 wide receivers to each side for Mr. Thornhill and his offense. Shotgun snap on the way. It's a perfect snap, waist high. Juan going up the middle. Not much there. Had to spin out of one tackle. Spinning out of another one, and he just drives his way for a first down. He had a man in it that was all over him. That was John Garland. Garland hit him at the line of scrimmage and was holding on. Juan just dragged him 5 yards.
Well, Fitz had him too. I thought he was going to go down at about the line of scrimmage. He continued to drive, continued to lean forward. That was all Juan Thornhill. First down at the 24-yard line.
Yeah.
There's 2:52, 2:51 remaining here in the first half.
That might not be your traditional highlight type of play, but that's a highlight you put on a highlight package when you tell people what weightlifting does. Because Juan Thornhill really showcasing some strength right there. Injury timeout now. We got a man on the field for the Wildcats, so we'll take a 30-second timeout as well. Altavista driving here with under 3 minutes to go in the first half. They lead 7-0 on 105.5 KD Country.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Installing Atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted Atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Fresh set of downs for the Altavista Colonels. Middle of the field here from the Dan River 24-yard line. Thornhill right up the middle. He breaks it outside. He's got some room. He's across the 15. He's across the 10. 5 touchdown Altavista Colonels with a big run right there. And one, Thornhill started up the middle but saw a lot of green space out there to the right. Oscar, he did the rest.
Well, he did, and Darius Johnson kept his defender engaged in a block downfield that gave Juan the opportunity to take that to the corner. And great run by Juan, 24-yard rushing touchdown, brings out Walker Allen for the extra point. Colonels lead 13-0, 2:19 remaining here in this first half.
And this is really, really good stuff from the Altavista Colonels right now as they got the momentum going. Extra point on the way. Good snap. Thornhill gets on the block. Allen kicks it up, and it looks like it's right down Broadway. It is. A couple bodies on the ground there for each team, but no flags on the play. So the Altavista Colonels take a 14-0 lead. 2:19 to go in the first half. Back with more after this on 105.5 KD Country.
Try a variety of lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that brought the first Mexican food to the area 13 years ago and still going strong 7 days a week. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
The award-winning high school sports coverage on 105.5. Our team is always having a good time, especially when we come to Dan River because we get to hassle Nick Bailey back at home base. Colonels, they're hassling Dan River down here in their own part of town as Altavista goes up 14-0. Scored once on defense, once on offense, Oscar, and it's things are looking good right now for the Colonels.
Well, they are, and, we talked about with this team, would the Colonels be able to bounce back? I think Coach Shorness would give them an A here in the first half. A lot of ball game left. Even with 2:19 remaining here in this first half, Dan River can score quickly. So, but again, I think if you grade them, the Colonels have not put the ball on the ground, hadn't turned it over, have been solid on defense, forced some 3-and-outs. You give them an A.
Yeah, some 3-and-outs and then also some fourth down stops as well, where they've made Dan River have to turn it over on downs. Allen kicking it off to the right side. Whistle's blow, and the flag comes out. It's right there where Altavista's kick coverage team starts their run-up. So I think somebody was offside. Somebody got ahead of the kicker. And now we'll set the Altavista Colonels back 5 yards. Like you said, Dan River can score quickly, so you don't want to give them any free yardage.
No, we know that Ware can bust it. And, that offside penalty may not be a bad break for the Colonels. It was not a good kick. It was one of Walker's shorter kicks that is actually picked up at about the 25-yard line, which is about 20 yards short for him. This should give him an opportunity to get it a little bit deeper.
Yeah, Walker didn't get the full hit on that one. I don't think you're right. So it could end up actually saving the Colonels' yardage. You never know. 2:19 to play in the Apple Market second quarter. Apple Market's a proud supporter of the Altavista Colonels. Allen going to start his run up again. Terrell Edmonds back deep. You mentioned Malcolm Ware out there as well. And then Dejan Lati is the other semi-deep return guy for the Colonels. And they kick it to Lati, and it's actually going to go out of bounds. It landed right on the sideline. It didn't go out of bounds by much, but it did land at about the 20-yard line, and I think Dan River will obviously accept the penalty, and they'll take over on the 35-yard line with 2:19 to play here in the first half. Again, Dan River's got the potent offense, so it doesn't necessarily have to take them a long time to score.
And because of the 5-yard penalty, they're going to mark it at the 40.
Yeah, you're right. Good point there. They will start on their own 40, so there's that 5 free yards again on the offside.
And that's really good field position here for Dan River.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Dan River's got a quarterback change. It looks like they're going to go with Brian Cook back there under center now. Cook is a senior. And he's got the tailback Stevens right behind him. Stevens starts up the middle. Now he bounces to the left side. Flag comes out. Clydell Moon makes the shoulder-high tackle and drops Stevens after about an 8-yard gain. Flag came out more toward the offensive line. Probably going to be holding again, but we'll wait and see.
No, it was a hold. Daquan Myers was in pursuit. I'm going to go out on a limb. He got his shoulders. He was held and turned, so it's going to be hold against Dan River.
I like it when you go out on a limb. And, tonight we're up here on the scaffolding, probably made out of wood. So, yeah, it makes sense, the analogy there. You go out on the scaffolding.
I'm not going out on a limb, I can tell you that. I'll go out on a figurative limb, but not a literal limb.
2 minutes and 13 seconds here, and another injury over there on that sideline. It looks like Curtis Stevens, the tailback. Got some people working on it. Angela Emerson over there from the Altavista training staff helping out initially.
And there's none better.
There really isn't any better. I mean, obviously I don't want to get injured, but if I do, I feel like I'm in good hands out there with Angela Emerson. And Stevens up on his own power. He's going to walk this one off. We saw Tremaine Edmonds nicked up a little bit early in the game. He walked off under his own power, and I believe he's back in the game now. So Dan River dealing with some little minor injury types of things.
And Stevens is taking some hard hits.
He has.
Clydell Moon's hit him. Daquan Myers has hit him.
Yeah.
Donovan Montague's hit him. So he's walking pretty gingerly.
You're right. Stevens listed as a 185-pound, 6-foot junior, so he's well put together, like a lot of these guys on the Dan River football team are. He'll come out and take a little breather. Looks like number 4, Malcolm Ware back there in the tailback spot. Cook the quarterback. He's got a couple receivers to each side. It looks like a pair of Edmonds, Terrell and Tremaine. Going to take the handoff, sprinting out to the right side here on the bootleg. Hits Kamani Fitz on the short pass. Fitz has got enough for a first down. Go up the right sideline. Still on his feet. He hit Nelson Dews hard and just dragged him. Excuse me, that was Davis Jones. He hit Navy Jones pretty hard and kept on trucking. Nice big gain there on the pass play from Brian Cook to Kamani Fitz.
Nice little bootleg. Kamani Fitz was wide open, rumbled down the field for 30 yards, and he's got some speed. It's easy to see why he's a D1 prospect.
Yeah, exactly. He's 225, but he runs like he's about 185. He really got the engine going good there on the old, looked like the old QB waggle kind of play from back in the day there where you bring the fullback out in the flat. Dan River executed it perfectly. Toss play here to Terrell Edmonds. Edmonds got a little bit of room, cuts it up, had him in around his ankles, and that was Canavis Jones that initially slowed him down. And I think Thornhill was in there to clean it up after that.
Yeah, and a little help from Darius Johnson as well. Gain of 3 on the play, 2nd and 7. Clock continues to run. 1:28, 1:27 as it winds down. Colonel's lead 14-0 here in the second quarter.
Dan River has used one timeout, so they have 2 obviously in the bag. Let's see if Coach Edmonds wants to use them or not. They still got a little bit of time, and they're marching down the field here after some nice, first the initial nice passing play, and then a nice run there. 2nd down. Tremaine Edmonds split out. They're going to throw it to him. Ball is a little high. Canavis Jones had a chance to intercept it. Quarterback and wide receiver not on the same page that time, and Navy Jones almost came away with what would have been probably a pick 6 if you could have hauled it in.
Yeah, pick 6, but by the same token, if that pass would have been on target, it would have been a 6 for Dan River. A little slant play that the receiver didn't quite slant in far enough, and Cook, first pass he's been able to really air out was a little bit high with it.
Yeah, the long pass to the fullback before that, it was really a short air time. Kamani Fitz did most of the damage on that long passing play. That time ball a little high, going to bring up 3rd and 7. Wildcats are from the far hash mark. Cook's going to get under center, I formation, a tight end and a receiver to each side. Tight end is to the left. Cook fakes the pass. He's got a man all over him. Draped in the backfield. That Altavista Colonel looks like Dante Poindexter just busting right through the front door that time. Just ran right by the center. for the big-time sack. Dan River going to call a timeout. Let's keep it here for a second.
Yeah, Dante Poindexter almost took the snap.
Yes, I mean, he timed up the snap perfectly. Talk about entering the party uninvited. Dante Poindexter just stormed right through the front door there, and Cook had no chance. I think he was going to fake a handoff and then roll out the pass, but none of that happened.
And I've been calling him Daquan a couple of times tonight because Daquan has had that number in the past. So, but again, Dante took that. He snuffed that right from the get-go. That play had no chance.
Well, we'll definitely forgive you for that. When Poindexter, if he keeps making plays like that, you won't make that mistake much longer either. It's going to bring up 4th and 15. Coach Edmonds using the timeout probably not only to stop the clock, but to go over the play selection here, I would think, because I'm getting the impression he wants to go for it. I think if you're going to punt it away, Oscar, you don't call the timeout. You let Altavista call the timeout.
Yeah, that's right. And the Colonels still have 3 timeouts, I believe. Two was
yep.
one on the board. They did use one, that's right. So it's 4th and about 14 or 15. And if the Colonels can get a stop here, you got to believe that with 2 timeouts, they're still going to try to score.
I think you're right. I think if they can get a stop right here, they're really in business. And you got to be careful if you're Dan River. You don't want to just throw this ball up for grabs because Altavista loves to get the interception and then take it the other way. Cook under center. They're going to toss to Edmonds, but Edmonds is going to throw. Now he pulls it down. He's going to try and run for the first down, and he's got room. He's going to pick up the first down. He's across the 25, down to 20. Hit hard on the left sideline right there, and that was Clydell Moon. No, that was Michi Malbeck that hit him hard around the thigh pad and finally dropped him. He was meant to be a halfback pass, but Edmonds didn't need the pass. He picked it up with the run, and it ends up being a very big gain for Dan River.
Yeah, they're going to mark that at the 19. It'll be 1st and 10. 44.3 seconds remaining, and nice job of him getting back against the green, finding the opening against the Colonel defense, and getting the ball down inside the 20.
High formation again. Edmonds is the tailback. Cook under center, low crouch. He's going to pass again, rolling to his right. Airs it out to the end zone. Altavista got a man there. It's Juan Thornhill. He intercepts it on the 2-yard line, and he is dropped there by Tremaine Edmonds. But the interception by Juan Thornhill prevents the touchdown. Altavista will take over. 36 seconds left in the half.
And once again, the coaching staff at Altavista said that they were going to make Dan River, try to make Dan River throw the ball, get him out of that running comfort zone. Great job by Coach Revis and the rest of the coaching staff making Dan River adjust and do something that they didn't want to do. Colonels capitalized. 36 seconds left with the ball at the 2-yard line. And Dan River only has 1 timeout, so the Colonels can really just take the ball under center, little quarterback sneak, and kill the clock and get out of here. They get the ball in 1st in the second half.
Yeah, they're going to start from the 2-yard line, their own 2-yard line. We'll keep it here. Altavista timeout there. As Coach Sharness, I think wants to discuss some things a little bit. Obviously, you're starting in the shadow of your own goalpost. So, like you said, probably thinking just the QB sneak, just push it right ahead. Let's get a yard or two. Let's get some breathing room. Then we can even take a knee and go to the locker room if we want to. But you got to be careful that you don't step back in that end zone there. I mean, obviously the Thornhill interception is great, but a little bit of bad luck that he gets dragged down right there on the 2.
Well, and you see that situation a play earlier that Dan River had where it was a direct snap to the quarterback who was up under center, and Dante Poindexter dropped him for a 5-yard loss. So you got to be extremely careful. Your offensive line, Brumfield, McLeese, Teagard, and that bunch has got to be strong and blow off this line and give Juan Thornhill some time, some yardage, some space to get out from underneath that goal line.
Yeah, just get an initial surge up front from your center and your 2 guards, and you're probably going to tighten your splits down. Your offensive linemen are probably going to be about foot to foot here, just to make sure nobody gets any penetration. Juan does go under center with the full house backfield, goes with the hard count. Looked like somebody stepped over. Juan surges ahead, and he does get exactly what we talked about a 2-yard gain there in the quarterback sneak.
Clock continues to wind, and
they'll spot it as a 1-yard gain. We'll take a timeout here as it looks like Dan River's going to take another timeout, make Altavista snap it again. 26 seconds to go in the half. Colonels lead 14-0 on 105.5 KD Country.
Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded, Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical, any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Littles Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
14-0 our score. The Altavista Colonels lead. Juan Thornhill's got a rushing touchdown. Darius Johnson has an interception return for a touchdown. Colonels football here with 26 seconds to go in the half. They're backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost. They're on their own 3-yard line, but it looks like Juan Thornhill will probably just take another QB sneak or maybe take a knee. He does. Kneels it down right there on the 3. Dan River out of timeouts, and that will bring the first half to a close. I don't want to say it was all Colonels, but it was certainly all Colonels late there in the second quarter. Subway halftime show on the way. We'll talk about all that and more here from Dan River. Altavista leading 14-0 on 105.5 KG Country.
By English Construction Company.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Virginia high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
High school athletics builds character, teaches teamwork, and provides a solid foundation for life. PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this sports broadcast for your enjoyment. PCM Industrial Services encourages everyone to come on out and watch the game. It's a great time for the whole family. Cheer on the Colonels. PCM Industrial Services, the industrial maintenance and construction specialists, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality craftsmen since 1986. Good luck, Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show finds the Colonels on top 14-0. You'll always be a winner at Subway. Always eating fresh, eating healthy. And, of course, the October $5 footlongs of the month, the spicy Italian and the Tuscan chicken melt here as we get the halftime show started. Terrell Edmonds will be honored at halftime here for a state championship in the 400 meters in track, Oscar. We said he was fast.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the evidence right here.
Well, that's right. 400-meter dash, 400-yard dash in the state championship last year.
Well, and that brings me to the next point. How about this Colonel defense? Pitching a shutout right now. They lead 14-0. When you shut down guys like Terrell Edmonds, and he's not the only dangerous one in the backfield for the Dan River Wildcats, you got to feel pretty good about how your defense is played.
Edmonds and Stevens are both horses. The Colonels they've given up a couple of plays that were significant yardage, but overall, like you said, they've been, but they haven't broken. Very clean half of football by the Colonels. A couple of penalties, not putting the ball on the ground. One defensive touchdown, nice interception by Johnson, taking that 25 yards to the end zone, and then the run by Thornhill. Colonels have played a very clean first half of football.
You're right, and I like what you said about the clean first half of football and about the fact no penalties. You know, there was the offsides on the kickoff. I think they had one other false start, illegal procedure kind of thing, and then the block below the waist, the high-low thing. But I think you can forgive some of those. No, it wasn't a rash of penalties, and it didn't really come back to bite the Colonels either.
No, you're right. They had the false start, and then they jumped off sides on the hard count.
Yep.
So there was those three penalties. Other than that, great job by the Colonels. You know, no unsportsmanlike, no unnecessary roughness. Nice job. They remained calm, remained cool. They've done a great job of maintaining their composure and holding this Dan River, very potent Dan River offense to no points.
Yeah, you know, no face masks either, and that's not that that's something the Colonels have a lot, but I think it just talks about their fundamental tackling. You know, they're not tackling up high around the face mask. They're hitting guys in the waist and the thigh pads. I'm still thinking back to that big hit Donovan Montague had on Stevens, where he just dropped him like a sack of potatoes, for lack of better terms. I mean, that's one of the all-time great tackles you'll ever see.
Well, and don't underestimate the importance of that play, because that put him in a passing situation, and that's when the interception was made, and the score on the ensuing return of the interception. So that tackle played a huge part in that.
No, that's a great point you made right there. About 15 minutes left to go in halftime, maybe a little bit more here. I think the Wildcat band's going to do their thing in halftime, and they're still getting set up. So we'll take one more time out here, maybe even two more during the Subway halftime show. But we got plenty of time to talk about exciting events that we got going on. 14-0 our score. The Altavista Colonels lead on the Subway halftime show. Eat Fresh on 105.5 KD Country.
Man, it's cold in here. What's wrong with your heater?
Well, it used to work pretty good.
Back in the 90s, just call Select Air and get it fixed.
Oh, it'll probably cost a lot of money.
No, it won't, because Donnie will give you a fair price and get it done right the first time.
Maybe I'll call Select Air tomorrow.
No, you will call Select Air today, because it's freezing in here.
Select Air, 841-1580. 841-1580. Online at selectair.webs.com. Check out this week's in-store specials from the Apple Markets. Gatorade, 32-ounce size, 2 for only $3.33. Regular size Snickers, just 69 cents. And when you buy any size coffee, get a Moon Pie for only $1 at Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. Visit the Apple Market's convenience stores today.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch and Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
14-0 our score. Altavista Colonels in charge here. It was hard fought, that's for sure. 0-0 to end that first quarter, and then Altavista got on the board on defense with the interception. Thornhill got on the board with a rushing touchdown on offense, and really Altavista just kind of sucked the life out of Dan River there, Oscar. When you saw the Wildcats looked a little dejected on their sideline over there. I got a feeling that Coach Edmonds is going to change that there halftime. They're not going in the locker room. They're just down there in that left end zone here as we watch him. But I have a feeling he'll give a passionate, fiery speech over there. And I think we haven't heard the last of the Wildcats, that's for sure.
No, we haven't. And, they've had some turnovers, which, Coach Edmonds can't be pleased about. But great, you got to give credit to the Colonel defense and their coaching staff on stacking that box 8 deep and making them adjust, stopping the run, and making them throw the ball. And you talk about the Altavista secondary, Thornhill, Johnson, Navy Jones, Michi Malback. You got some great athletes that can pick the ball. They're all basketball players too. So it's a difficult situation. Probably one of the better halves of defense that the Colonels have played this year.
I think you're right. 2 interceptions there on defense. One by Thornhill there at the end of the half to squash any chance of Dan River scoring before halftime. And then, of course, the one that Demetrius Johnson returned for the touchdown earlier in that second quarter. Navy Jones has been in on some breakups. Michi Malback has been there to break up some passes. And, of course, there was the one that Michi had the great coverage on where he got thrown to the deck. It ended up resulting in the offensive pass interference. So that's as good as the pass breakup right there. It's actually a little bit better because they make him lose 15 yards.
Well, and that was a great play by Michi because he had superb position. Yeah. Played that just textbook. So great job by Michi on that.
Yeah, we mentioned the D-line stepping up. They've certainly done their part. We saw Dante Poindexter get the nice sack there on the play right before the interception. This is a defense, again, that is without Destin Brown, who is obviously one of their leading tacklers, a hard-hitting guy, a guy that flies around sideline to sideline. So when you lack him, you got to feel like it's going to slow you down. I don't think the Colonels have missed a beat on the defensive end.
Well, they haven't, but I think you're going to see a little bit different strategy from Dan River in the second half. With a number of interceptions that were thrown, I think that you're going to see Dan River go back and just try power football. Even with 8 in the box, I think that they've had some success running the ball against the Colonels. Again, they had some 3-and-outs. They had some situations where they got to a 4th and 7, 4th and 8, where the Colonels were able to stop them. But I think if you're Coach Farrell Edmonds, you got to go back to your bread and butter, and you got to play power football.
Yeah, because, Dan River, they haven't broken a lot of long runs. They have had one or two in there. Edmonds has had the long one on what was supposed to be the halfback pass. He broke that out for a long game. But they're not losing a whole lot of yards when they run the football. They've been steady. So maybe, for Coach Edmonds, maybe it's a patient thing. Hey, look, guys, let's pick up our 4 or 5 yards every time we run the ball, and if we hold on to the ball, we'll be in the end zone. We don't have to always throw the ball to score.
And we saw that strategy work extremely well against Altavista in the fourth quarter from Gretna as they played power football and were able to blow the Colonels off the ball and pick up those 4, 5, 6, 7 yard gains at a time and control the clock. It's difficult in that mindset to do that when you're trailing 14-0.
Right.
But as explosive as these running backs are and as strong as that offensive line is for Dan River, I think it'd be a good strategy for them to do that.
Well, I think we'll at least see some of that here when Dan River comes out in the third quarter. But remember, Colonels get the ball to start halftime, so that certainly helps out the Vista's chances. I mean, boy, if you could go up 21-0 on the Dan River Wildcats, then you might really force their hand because, at that point, who knows how much time you run off the clock. But at that point, Dan River's down 21-0, and they've got the clock working against them. Well, then they might have to just chuck it up a little bit.
Well, that's true. And there was a close ball game last week against Chatham. But, boy, did Dan River explode in the second half and ended up with 55 points. So a lot of ball left, and boy, I'm looking forward to a great second half.
Yeah, it is going to be fun. And Dan River, a lot like Altavista in the fact that they do tend to explode in the second half, and they tend to do a lot of their damage in the second half. We'll see. It is the Subway halftime show. Subway, eat fresh, and you can do that at 2 great locations in Altavista, of course, Main Street. And then in the Walmart on the Clarion Road. We'll take one more time out here and then come back with the final segment of the Subway halftime show. Altavista up 14-0 on 105.5 KD Country.
Installing atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom-crafted atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
Try a variety of lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that brought the first Mexican food to the area 13 years ago and still going strong 7 days a week. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business.
Apple Auto Glass is your windshield repair and replacement center in Lynchburg. You get a free car wash with all windshields replaced in the shop. Apple Auto Glass wants the fans to enjoy the Boys of Fall this high school football season.
When I feel that chill, smell that fresh cut grass, I'm back in my helmet, cleats, and shoulder pad. Kings of the school, man, where the boys of fall.
Apple Auto Glass salutes the Boys of Fall.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
51 years of outstanding award-winning high school sports coverage here on 105.5 KD Country. Colonels lead 14-0. Oscar still thinks it's golf season. It's definitely football season. Friday football, obviously a tradition, Oscar, but don't forget about the Thursday Dollar Saver at KD Country. Different half-price deal on sale every Thursday with Anchor Restaurant this Thursday. Sold out pretty quickly, and that's the thing about the Dollar Saver. It's a little bit like our auction, but not quite. There's no bidding. You just get in on all these deals for half price, $20 gift certificates for $10, that sort of thing. But it's first come, first served. Limited quantities available. So that's why every Thursday, 10 a.m., a new half-price deal. Got to check it out at kdcountry.com.
I had some friends who got excited about the LU's hockey tickets this week. So
I was talking about golf and football. Now you transition to hockey. I'm a renaissance. Yeah, this is like a United Nations summit over here with all the sports, or maybe an Olympic summit anyway. Maybe not United Nations. Altavista, 14-0 lead right now as we're having a good time from the scaffolding here at Dan River. Again, big thanks to English's and Triple E Rentals. for helping us out, providing our makeshift press box tonight. Not as good of a press box as we've ever had.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And again, we want to go back and thank the rest of our sponsors as well. First National Bank, who's focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. Apple Markets, serving you from 3 Altavista area locations. Tyree Little Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. English Construction Company, boosting our high school athletes in exciting and injury-free games. Carlos Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Christy Esteban, and that's voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers. English is your complete home center, your Pratt & Lambert paint headquarters, and as Kyle alluded to earlier, our press box provider for the night. Select Air, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never an overtime charge. PCM Industrial, since 1986, industrial maintenance and construction specialist. Apple Auto Glass and Mirror, Ford Avenue, Lynchburg.
Press box provider. Try saying that 3 times fast, but
I got it right the first time.
Well, that's a good point. Subway halftime show about at its conclusion here as both teams doing some stretching before the Apple Market third quarter gets underway, since we're on a sponsorship binge. But we really could do without our sponsors, and they make it possible. They make it, not only they make it possible, they make it fun for us because, it's just more fun when you got great guys like Robert Duff to talk about, Donnie and Brent there at English's, and you mentioned Steven down there at El Cazador. You and I popped in there today. And all our sponsors, same way. Greg Walker at Fellers. I mean, the list goes on. And we could probably name them all, and we will at some point during the season name them all. Just not right now, because the Colonels and the Dan River Wildcats want to get this second half of football going on here. 14-0. 14-0 here is our score here. Altavista Colonels on top as Oscar doing some slight discussions with our good friend Dave Close over there. And, of course, Dave Close is the offensive and defensive line coach for the Altavista Colonels, and he's done a fantastic job all year. And they're I don't know what they're discussing. It's throwing me off, but I know the Altavista Colonels probably had a good locker room discussion. And if I know anything about Coach Sharness, it was probably something along the lines of, hey, we're up 14-0, but the job isn't done yet, guys. We've got to stay focused here in this second half. And don't think just because we got a 2-touchdown lead that Dan River is going to lay down. And I know you would echo that as well, Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of these coaches are good at making adjustments. And we'll see who can execute better here in the second half.
Yeah, and I wonder, we talked about Dan Rivers' adjustments. If you're Altavista, you're up 14-0. Not that you don't have to make some minor adjustments, but I don't know. Do you think the Colonels are going to try and do much different? I'm not sure.
Well, when you talk about the Colonels' offense, we see them run similar plays week in, week out. They don't make a lot of adjustments. They do what they do. They do it well. They mix in a little bit enough pass plays to keep the defense honest, but they run the ball with Thornhill, with Michi, which we haven't seen really Michi run the ball tonight.
Yeah, I haven't seen that wide receiver sweep that sometimes the Colonels like to use with Janavis Jones and Michi Malback as well. Maybe that's a play they'll go to later on. We've seen Clydell Moon obviously carry the ball some. Here comes the kick from Dan River. Looks like it's going to go out of bounds. It does land on about the 21-yard line and then finally trickles out of bounds. It took a little while there. Janavis Jones was in the area thinking about returning it, but he knew where the sideline was and just let it go out. Altavista going to start on the 35-yard line.
So interesting kickoff by that time. We saw that Dan River had 2 kickers warming up. Driscoll was warming up. He was moving the ball deep, and then the other kicker is Brandon Hollowell, who doesn't quite have a leg, but he kicked it out of bounds. Colonels get the ball at the 35-yard line. Good field position here starting the second half.
Yeah, Hollowell was sort of the directional angle kick. I don't think he meant to kick it out of bounds or anything, but he's more straight-on toe-style kicker than Driscoll, a little bit more the soccer-style kicker. I'm sure Edmonds doesn't mind having two kickers at his disposal there. Juan Thornhill, shotgun formation. He's going to put Michi Mall back in motion. They toss it to him. We said they weren't running it to him much. They are here. Boy, he nearly broke that one deep. Ends up getting dragged down after about a 5-yard gain. Tremaine Edmonds on the stop. Might have been more like a 6 or 7-yard gain. But, boy, Michi turned that one up very quickly, and he got it into fifth gear in a hurry.
Yes, he did, and that hole opened up, and like you said, he almost broke it. That hole closed quickly on him. He was about 2 steps from taking that deep.
It's one of those toss plays where they go outside. It's designed to get to that sideline, but Michi Malbeck is so good at reading those holes and turning it upfield that it doesn't always get to the sideline. Thornhill, shotgun formation, 3 wide receivers to his right. He's going up the middle. Nice hold there initially by Ken Brumfield and the rest of that offensive line. And up for a first down, Thornhill falls across the 45-yard line to about the 47. Fresh set of downs for the Altavista Colonels.
Boy, this offensive line for Altavista continues to impress, blowing big holes and allowing Thornhill, Moon, Malbeck, whoever's carrying the ball, to get 3-4 yards downfield, which is impressive against this Dan River defense.
Yeah, it really is. Brumfield, Teagard, McLeese, Robinson, and Elliott, those 5 up front here tonight. They've been pretty steady in that lineup. A few of them been banged up from time to time, but those 5 have been the ones that have been doing the bulk of the blocking up front of the offensive line for the Colonels, and they're pretty good at it. Pistol formation this time for Thornhill. Had a little trouble with the snap, but he got it to Clydell Moon on the handoff. Moon not going to get a whole lot there. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, maybe even a loss of 1.
Boy, that play was doomed from the start. They couldn't get the formation right. Players switching side. Low snap. Juan did a good job of handling a little bit of tough transition, getting it to Clydell. Clydell had a tough time hanging on to it, but all in all, second down, 10 to go. 10:20 here left in the third quarter. Colonels lead 14-0.
Yeah, you said it. That play doomed from the start. Altavista with a 2-touchdown lead, 1 tight end, 3 receivers, a little bit of a different formation, shotgun formation. They toss it to Michi Mall back again. He's going to turn it upfield. Got a gain. Flag comes out late. Let's see what this is on. Dan Rivers thinks the football came out. They got a couple guys on the sideline pointing. I never saw an official signal. And there's a bunch of guys crowding around. If somebody from the Wildcats comes off that pile with the football, they could convince the official that there was a fumble there. Although it looked like Michi was on the ground.
Maybe Jones came out with the ball.
Okay.
That play, it's either a hold or a face mask. Michi's face came around a little bit of an odd angle. I don't know.
Yeah, the flag, it came out as Michi was going to the ground, and you're right. His head twisted around. Let's see what it is. It could be a hold on Altavista, though, as well. Yeah, that's what they're going to call it. Holding on the Colonels. 10:02 to play. Altavista leading 14-0. This is going to back the Colonels up. Probably going to make it about 2nd and 20 now.
Yeah, another situation where the Colonels were making good yardage, picked up a couple of first downs, and now they've got a second and a bus ride.
Well, I hope we didn't jinx them. We talked about Altavista played pretty clean football in the first half. They did have a few penalties here and there, but it didn't end up burning them. Let's see if this one ends up hurting him here.
And you want to get this into a 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 10, 8, something in that category.
Juan Thornhill's going to put Clydell Moon right behind him. He's giving him a little extra instruction. 2 wide receivers each side for Juan. Oh, and it looks like right tackle moved a little bit early. And this will be another flag on Altavista. Nobody else moved, so clearly a little bit of miscommunication there. I think that's McLeese over there on the right side.
It was, and brings up 3rd and 25. 2nd 25, excuse me.
Yep. 2nd and a longer bus ride, as you would say. Long bus ride down here to Ringgold. Sometimes the Colonels in recent memory have had a hard time shaking off the cobwebs in the first half on these long trips, but lately they've been pretty good. Didn't start slow at Galax. It was 0-0 at Appomattox after the long ride, but that was as much the Raiders D, if anything. And then here they've bounced out to a 14-0 lead. 9:20 to go here in the Apple Market third quarter. Thornhill wants to pass, going to roll to his right to do it. Got a nice protection there. He's going to sprint up right sideline. Now he's going to take it down and run it. Ends up with a gain of about 10, maybe even 11 or 12, as he runs out of the play there on his own momentum. Never got taken down.
Yeah, actually gained him about 13, 12. They're going to mark that at the, we can't see, at the 45-yard line. They've got to get to the 43 of Dan River.
Yeah, they're on their own 45. They got to get over the 50-yard line of the Dan River 43. So it's going to make it 3rd and 12. And Thornhill gets a play from the sideline, now sharing it with the rest of his teammates. Coach Sharnis and Coach Revis giving some signals over there as well. Darius Johnson split out wide here on this side. 3 wide receivers to the other side. Clydell Moon right behind Juan Thornhill. Option play. Juan fakes the move, cuts it back to the middle. He faked it to Clydell Moon, that is. Falls forward for about 4, but it's going to be not nearly enough for the first down. Colonels could think about going for it here, but I think with the 14-0 lead, Oscar, they're just going to be content to punt it away.
Yeah, I think that's an absolutely correct call, and Walker Allen is in the punt.
Allen back deep. He's got off a couple good punts so far here tonight. Dan Rivers going to send Malcolm Ware back deep to return it. He's standing on about the 16-yard line. They got a shorter guy, Dejan Lotzi, who was up a little bit close to the line of scrimmage, but still able to return a shorter punt, that is. Good snap to Walker Allen. He's going to get it away. It almost got blocked, but he did get off a pretty good punt. Bounces and then takes a left away from Ware, so Ware has no chance to return it. Ashton Robinson down there on the coverage, and he downs it on the 14.5-yard line. So another quality kick from Walker Allen, another good coverage there as Ashton Robinson beat everybody down and just downed it. Good play by the Altavista Colonels.
The ball at the 15-yard line, so they're able to pin Dan River back relatively deep in their own territory.
Colonels have really played the field position game pretty well. Dan River hasn't had great starting field position. Wildcats had their best field position after Altavista scored the touchdown, and then Walker Allen kicked it out of bounds. But Altavista was able to weather that, and Wildcats couldn't get much going. Colonels lead 14.
They did have a drive late where they got down deep inside the 20, but time ran out and a nice interception by Thornhill.
Yep, Cook's going to turn around, hand it off to Terrell Edmonds. Edmonds getting dragged down, hit hard. Looks like Clydell Moon in on the stop. Juan Thornhill from the safety spot as well. Dante Poindexter, too. A lot of guys getting up off that pile. And it looks like Elliott as well, Trayvon Elliott, in on the stop, too, for the Altavista Colonels.
And a little bit of tussling going on in the backfield there between Dejan Laddie and Michi Malback, both number 1s. And before the refs could get over, they had resolved their differences and patted each other on the helmet and said, good job, keep fighting, and here we go, 2nd down and 5.
And you got to like that, and I think you guys saw that a lot last week against the Hawks. It's a rivalry game, but both teams respect each other. I mean, you respect the other guy's athleticism. You want to win, but you want to beat him fair and square, and I think that's a good trait that the Altavista Colonels have. Cook under center, ball came out. He's just got a fall on it. Altavista may have taken it away from him when it was on the ground. Let's see who it goes. They're going to signal Altavista football, and that is Darius Johnson, I believe, on the fumble recovery.
That's his second takeaway tonight, the interception for the touchdown, and then was able to get that ball on that mishandled snap from Cook. And Colonels are now in business at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. 7:23 here in the 3rd quarter.
And that is big. Altavista already leading 14-0. They couldn't even get anything going on their first offensive possession. How about an extra one here on the takeaway? Fumble recovery after the botch snap. Colonels are going to take over on the Dan River 25-yard line. Thornhill has Clydell Moon to his left, 3 wide receivers to his right. He's going to go right up the gut. Not a whole lot there. He was able to get it ahead for a few yards. Juan's not happy with himself. Maybe he wasn't happy with the blocking. There wasn't much he could do there as he got run down.
He did, and that was Manny Saunders that was able to wrap him up and put a vicious hit on Juan, threw him to the ground. Juan picked up 2 on that play, 2.5, brings up 2nd and 7.
And he picked that up on just good hard running right there because there wasn't a whole lot of a hole. Wasn't a whole lot of blocking either. Maybe a missed assignment, maybe just good D-line play from Dan River Wildcats. We're under 7 minutes to go. Colonels lead 14-0. 2nd and 7 on the way. Thornhill's going to swing it out. Davy Jones has it, looking for the right sideline. Now he bounces it upfield. It's up for a first down as he carries a would-be tackler with him across that first down marker. Colonel's got it inside the 10. Looks like they'll have 1st and goal from about the 7 or 8 yard line, Oscar.
And nice recognition by the Colonels' offense and the coaches as Dan Rivers gone to a 5-6 man front, trying to stop that run by Thornhill and Clydell Moon up the middle. Juan did that little far pass out to Navy, and we've seen Navy get more confident as the season's gone on, and he's a real threat once he gets that ball.
Certainly is. Canavis Jones not short on speed at all. Here we go. Michi Mall back in motion. They hand it to him. That ball's loose. Fumble. Let's see who comes up with this. I think Thornhill may have fallen on it. Michi Malbeck never really got the handoff as he was going in motion. Juan did get it back, but it'll go as a loss of about 4. It's going to be second and goal from the 11-yard line. Lost yardage there on the botched handoff by the Altavista Colonels.
Well, you talk about athleticism and quickness. Juan Thornhill, once that ball hit the ground, showed a ton of it there as he was able to get to that ball. He had to almost go backwards to get it, dove on the ball. Nice. That could loom large here. Second down and goal from the 11-yard line.
Yeah, really good. 2 receivers to each side. 11-yard line in the middle of the field. Shotgun snap on the way for the Colonels. They'll put Michi in motion again. They take it to him. Juan going up the middle. Not a whole lot there as he is met in the backfield by Zach Grubbs, number 32. Got in the backfield very quickly. He didn't fall for the fake. Juan got it back to the 10-yard line, so call it a gain of 1.
And they did keep the ball in the middle of the field. And again, 3rd and goal from the 10-yard line.
5 minutes and 9 seconds to play here in the Apple Market third quarter. Altavista leading 14-0. 3rd and goal on the way from the 10-yard line. I think Coach Shaughness would be comfortable going for a field goal here.
Watch for some type of rollout from Thornhill.
They hand it off to Michi, ball back reverse to Canavis Jones. Jones going to cut it up the middle. He really could have probably had a little bit more yardage outside, but I think Jones decided to do the safe thing and turn up the middle, get the yards that he could. Get you to around the 6-yard line. Let's see if the Colonels send that Walker Allen. If they want to go for the 6 points, they are going to trot out number 89, the sophomore Walker Allen, and he'll be kicking this one really right from the middle of the field.
And I like this call from Shaughness. You know, it would be easy to go for it here, have Dan River pinned deep. That would still be a 2-possession game. I think for 2 reasons. I think you make this a 3-possession game, and I think you give Walker Allen the opportunity to hit this field goal to get his confidence back.
Yeah, I agree with you. And really the confidence for the whole team saying, hey, when we get down close, we're not afraid to try for 3. Balls on the block. Walker Allen's got plenty of distance. Let's see about the direction. It's good. Man, he would have made that one from about 45 or maybe even 50. A lot of leg on that one for Walker Allen, and it makes the game 17-0. Clock still running here. Probably should be stopped. Doesn't matter to us. We'll take a timeout. Back after more on 105.5 KD Country.
Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded, Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical, any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
3:59 remaining here in the third quarter. Altavista 17, Dan River nothing. Nice drive by Altavista after the turnover. We're able to get the 3-point field goal from Walker Allen. And again, with the amount of balls, with the amount of running plays, the clock continues to wind quickly here. Again, 3:59 remaining here in the third quarter.
Yeah, 3 takeaways so far here in the football game, Oscar, and they've all been huge for the Colonels. The 1 interception return for 6 points, obviously, that Altavista had. They had the interception as Dan Rivers driving, really to prevent probably a touchdown by the Wildcats late in that first half. And then the fumble recovery here that leads to 3 points. That's 6-3 by my count. That's about a 15-point swing there just based on the turnover.
And that's right. And through almost 3 complete quarters, I think you got to give the Colonels have really dominated this ball game.
Yeah, they really have. First quarter was pretty much up for grabs. Boy, line drive kick here by Walker Allen, and it takes a nice Altavista hop as it just jumps right over Terrell Edmonds. He can't do anything about it, and he goes in the end zone for a touchback. Good, well-struck football there by Walker Allen that time. But, back to your point, first quarter, that's 50-50. That could go either way. Since that second quarter started, it really has been a very, very dominating performance by the Colonels. But Dan Rivers not out of this thing yet. We've said it a few times. They never are. 3:59 to go here in the Apple Market third quarter.
And you got to wonder who's going to be in quarterback. I haven't been able to pick that up yet for Dan River, but you got to wonder if Cook's going to come back out. Have not had a lot of success with him in at quarterback, and it doesn't look like he is.
Yeah, Cook is the senior. Zamar Anderson started the game at quarterback. He is a freshman. And now it looks like they're going to change things altogether, and they're going to put Terrell Edmonds back there at quarterback. And Edmonds is listed as a quarterback. He played played there some last year, so he's definitely capable. He hands it to Stevens. They were in a shotgun formation. Stevens shakes off one tackler. He's got some room now. Going left sideline, cuts it up, got it up for a first down. Runs out of bounds on his own momentum there as he runs over near the Altavista fan section. And let's mention it again, Oscar. A lot of Altavista fans made the trip on down 29 here, and that's nice to see if you're a Colonel player. That's got to give you a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, it is. They've traveled well this year, and looks like might be another Dan River player injured.
Possibly another injury on the field here. We'll keep it here for right now. It's about a 12-yard pickup for Curtis Stevens there.
And I think that what we're seeing with the decision to not have Cook in at quarterback, to have Edmonds in at quarterback, you're going to see a steady diet of runs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is the adjustment that Coach Farrell Edmonds is going to make. You know, he's going to maybe go to the shotgun a little bit more, spread things out, put Terrell Edmonds, a big playmaker, get the ball in his hands every time. He and Stevens can do some damage back there in the backfield. And like I said, Edmonds primarily a running back this year, but he's played a lot of quarterback in the past, not just last year, but the year before as well when brother Trey was the main running back. So it's not like he's not capable. I mean, he is a very talented athlete. He can play quarterback as well. And Farrell Edmonds marching over the other sideline. I guess that's Curtis Stevens down. And he's a Dan River player, but he's down over on the Altavista sideline. So Edmonds will just mosey on over there and see what's going on. I don't know. A guy that big, can he really mosey? It's not... he can't fly under the radar, I know that.
With Farrell's knees, he moses.
Edmonds will hop up. No, excuse me, Curtis Stevens, I'm sorry, will hop up. And they've got the helmet off, but he is walking back over to the Dan River sideline on his own power. So probably just shaking up a little bit. 3:51 to go here in the Apple Market third quarter. Altavista leading 17-0. It's really been all Colonel since the second quarter. Juan Thornhill has a rushing touchdown. Demetrius Johnson has the interception return for a touchdown. And Walker Allen just recently made a field goal to give the Colonels their other 3 points. 3 takeaways by the Altavista Colonels as well. Johnson had a fumble recovery and the interception. And then Thornhill had the other interception there to really close out the first half. Shotgun formation again. Edmonds fakes it. Going to keep himself. Going to try the right side. Hit hard. Dragged down. Clydell Mooney on the stop. Juan Thornhill made the first contact.
Nice job of blocking against Thornhill. He was still able to, even when he was engaged, was able to make that tackle. Pick up a 3, call it 2nd and 7.
That's the thing. I mean, Juan Thornhill, like you said, he was blocked. He was still engaged, but he was able to just somehow affect that play and get in on the tackle as well, even though he was being blocked. 2nd and 8, 3:17 to play here. From Ringgold, it's Altavista 17, Dan River nothing. Shotgun formation again. Terrell Edmonds is the quarterback. He's got Malcolm Ware right behind. Kamani Fitz to his left, and 2 receivers to the left as well. He hands it to Ware. Ware is sifting his way to the Altavista defense. Dropped after about a 3-yard gain. Looks like Thornhill on the stop again. Go figure, right?
Yeah, it is. And you pick up a 3, maybe 2. They're going to call it 3rd and 5. And big play here for the Colonels as the clock continues to run. It was 17-0 here with 2:41. If the Colonels can stop this and get the ball, stop this drive and get the ball back, then you're going to start to have clock issues from Dan River.
I think you're right. It really is. If Altavista can get out of this quarter with a 17-0 lead, or even extend the lead a little bit before the quarter ends, that'd be great too. But yeah, the clock is really going to start to become Dan River's number 1 enemy, the clock and the scoreboard together. Terrell looking over the defense. He'll get the shotgun snap. Waist high, hands it off to Curtis Stevens, who's back in the game. Stevens spun out of 1 tackle, dropped. He looks like he's got enough for the first down marker. They needed to get to about the 44-yard line, and it looks like Curtis Stevens got to the 45-yard line. That'll move the 6, fresh set of downs for the Wildcats.
And we've seen some good running backs this year. Between Peebles and Dixon. This Stevens kid's good. He's strong. He's quick. He's got great vision. He's able to cut back.
It's Stevens and Edmonds. They rank right up there with the athletes that we've seen. I mean, I know these 2 guys are playing quarterback, but you got to throw Deion Rosser and Kendall Blankenship in that group as well. Moving up front from both teams. Flags fly out. Let's see who the penalty is on. Terrell Edmonds went with a hard snap count. This one might be on Dan River, though, as it looked like the right tackle jump for the Wildcats.
There was right tackle, and it looked like the left tackle jumped as well. They may call encroachment.
Yeah. Yeah, they do call against the Altavista Colonels. Colonels obviously came over first, and they said that drew Dan River off. So 5 free yards to the Dan River Wildcats. 1:50 to play here in the Apple Market third quarter. Colonels leading 17-0. Clock restarts there once the ball's set. Terrell Edmonds in there at quarterback, shotgun formation. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 running backs in the backfield with him. He'll start out right, cuts it up the middle off right tackle. Trying to stiff arm one man, and that's Juan Thornhill. He's not exactly the guy you want to stiff off. Juan drives him back, and the flag flies out after the fact. Don't know if it was just unnecessary roughness on Juan, or maybe somebody said something. Maybe it's an unsportsmanlike conduct. I didn't see anything dirty on what Juan did. I mean, he was just playing hard till he heard the whistle.
He was, but they're going to say that he picked him up and drove him into the turf, and that's just not the case. That's an awful call if they're going to call that.
Yeah, really, to me, what happened was Juan hit him hard and was driving him back, and then Terrell Edmonds' feet kind of came out from under him, and then Juan just sort of drove him to the turf. I don't think Juan went out of his way to pick him up. It wasn't the old WWF suplex or anything. Yeah. It's just that Edmonds' feet came up from under him.
And Coach Edmonds is, you got to wonder, are they going to pick this flag up?
And the refs certainly did talk about it. They are going to step this off against the Altavista.
Yeah, they are.
So it's going to be 15 yards. And I think you're right. I thought maybe somebody said something, but I think you're right. I think they just thought Juan was, a little bit too rough with the tackle there. And, again, it's really hard to tell a guy to stop when he's in the moment like that, driving a guy back. I mean, Juan's going to play hard till he hears the whistle. That's the trait that Thornhill has, and that's what you want out of your players.
They marked that from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this is going to be a big game. I mean, that's the thing. The penalty happened about 6 yards in the backfield. I mean, Juan Thornhill was going to get a great tackle for a loss. You're right. They mark it off from the line of scrimmage. Wait a minute. They might have even given him a little extra. I don't know if there was 2 penalties on that or not.
That's exactly what's happened. They've given 2 penalties. They marked that ball down to the 20-yard line.
Dan Rivers on the Altavista 20 now with a fresh set of downs. Edmonds mishandled the snap. This ball is loose. Curtis Stevens got it back right before Jacob Hawkins was going to snatch it away from him. This will be a loss of about 10. So Altavista, bad break on the play before, if you want to call it that. Good break here as the snap just goes high, and Dan River has to scramble on it just to save the fumble.
Yeah, maybe a little poetic justice there.
Yeah.
That's closer to it. 12, 13, 14-yard house brings up second and long.
You're right. It's on about the 33-yard line. You're absolutely right. Now under a minute to play in the third quarter, so there's that time factor creeping up again. Altavista still ahead, 17-0. Dan River, second and long. Terrell Edmonds in the shotgun formation. Last snap was a bullet that he barely got his hands on over his head. Let's see where this one goes. It's pretty perfect. Terrell wants the pass. He's flushed out of the pocket by Dante Poindexter. Poindexter going to run him down. Hawkins dove his ankles and missed. Now Fidel Moon will ride him out of bounds. It's going to end up being a decent gain, 2 or 3 yards by Terrell Edmonds, the quarterback there. Give him credit for making something out of nothing because Altavista really had a chance of dropping him for an even greater loss. He ends up turning into a small gain.
Yeah, they did, but nice pursuit by the Colonels.
Yeah.
And, he ran 45 yards on that play, but only gained 2. The clock continues to wind. I don't believe they'll get another playoff in this quarter. The Colonels will lead going into the fourth quarter, 17-0.
Oscar Briggs, you're not always right, but you're right on this one. Wildcats just going to walk back to the sideline and let the buzzer sound there to end the third quarter. One more quarter of play here, one more quarter of regulation anyway from Ringgold. Altavista on top, 17-0. Fourth quarter on the way on 105.5 KD Country.
Tonight's game is brought to you by these members of the KD Country Sports Club.
Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, priced right, financing available. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street.
Aubrey Rosser Law Firm, Altavista. First choice for any and all legal advice. Services go way beyond court trials and settlements.
Diane's Hair Creations in Altavista, creating hairstyles for every lifestyle. 283-1111. That's 283-1111.
El Cerrito, Altavista. Throw on a sombrero. Shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only at El Cerrito.
Shop Main Street Trading Company, Altavista, where quality and affordability go hand in hand.
Sharky's Pest Control in Hurt. Let Tony take a bite out of your pest control needs. Doing business the old-fashioned way to keep you coming back.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels lead 17-0. Can they hold on here? 12 more minutes of regulation football to play. Nick Bailey making it all sound good back at the station. English is in Triple E. Reynolds making it sound good as well, helping us out with our press box situation. Couldn't do it without support. Oscar Briggs, Altavista has had a lot of support in this one tonight, not just from that loud vocal fan contingent, but just from their teammates. I mean, this has really been a team effort all the way around, particularly on the Colonels' defensive side. They'd love to get another third down stop here, 3rd and long on the way.
4 down territory,
I would think so, especially in the fourth quarter. Terrell Edmonds wants to pass out of the shotgun, throws it up, kind of floating. He was looking for Malcolm Ware, but it floats incomplete. Just overshot him just a little bit. This will bring up 4th and long. Call it 4th and 19. Good defense from the Altavista Colonels. They were getting enough pressure on Edmonds there to where I think he had to hurry that throw a little bit.
Yeah, he did. And when we saw the Dan River warming up, Edmonds was the weaker throwing of the two quarterbacks. The freshman's got a very, very good arm.
Yeah, they had the senior Brian Cook as well that has taken some snaps in this game. Edmonds, obviously, I would think, the most potent runner amongst those three. But when you're down this much, and with this little time remaining, 11 minutes and 54 seconds, sometimes you do have to air it out.
Well, and there's no need to punt here from the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
If it goes in the end zone, you only gain 10 yards.
Right.
So, right call here.
Absolutely. Shotgun formation back to either side. I thought I saw left guard move, but I bet you they're going to get Altavista for jumping across the line of scrimmage again.
Yeah, they are.
They don't even bother to throw the flags on this one. They just blow the whistle. Everybody knew that somebody jumped. I think you're going to get 5 free yards here for Dan River. Still going to be 4th and a good chunk. Call it 4th and 12. Well, call it about 4th and 14, actually. They're going to spot it now after the penalty on the Altavista 26-yard line. So big play here coming for the Colonels. I mean, if Dan River gets the first down here, they got to get to the 11-yard line to get a first down. If they get the first down, you got to figure a touchdown can't be far behind. If the Colonels can get a stop, that might spell doom for Dan River's comeback chances. Let's see what Edmonds has in mind.
And they're going to stack 8 up in the box, and they're going to come after him.
1 tight end, 2 receivers. Edmonds looking deep. Davy Jones is in coverage, and he's got the interception. He'll catch it in the end zone, touchback out to Vista. And I mentioned it might spell doom for Dan River's comeback chances. Well, Davy Jones, call him Mr. Doom if you want to, because he gets the interception there. You mentioned the height advantage. Terrell Edmonds was looking for Tremaine Edmonds. Davy Jones just had great position. Height didn't matter.
It's the exact same play that Michi Malmack made earlier. He had position, was almost in what we would call a receiver position, had inside position. And great job by the defensive line getting some pressure on Edmonds. He got rid of the ball quickly, but ball comes out to the 20. 3rd interception for the Colonels tonight. Great job by this coaching staff. They said they were going to make them throw the ball, get them out of their comfort zone. And trailing 17-0 here, 11:45 remaining in the ball game. They're going to have to do something quickly. And if the Colonels can get some clock here and have any kind of sustained drive, it's really going to tighten up this ball game for Dan River.
Colonels really have the advantage because they can just grind it out and run the football. Juan Thornhill looking for right sideline. He's going to get out there. He's run out of bounds in there to Tremaine Edmonds. Is a nice sportsmanlike play where he holds up and really makes sure Juan doesn't go to the ground. And then speaking of sportsmanship, Juan's going to go over there and help out a Dan River player who got knocked down as everybody came over to the sideline. I've been on one of those sidelines, Oscar. It's not fun when 190, 200-pound guys are running over there full speed at you, and there's really nowhere to go. And a bench player for Dan River, took the brunt of that shot over there on the side.
Yeah, it looks like you got him in the knee. And I know you've been on those sidelines before, and, it's a tough job being a water boy.
It really is. I'm not as nimble and as fast as I used to be. They're going to give Juan up for the first down. He got run out of bounds right there at the 30, so maybe a little bit generous on the spot, Ralph.
And able to get to the corner, and he was a couple steps from taking that for another 20 or 30 yards.
Thornhill with a fresh set of downs. He's got Moon right behind him in the pistol. Puts Canavis Jones in motion across the formation. They hand it to Moon. Moon driving ahead. He meets about 3 or 4 Wildcat defenders. Good pickup. Call it 3 or 4. see where they finally spot it. 11:24 to go in the football game, the Apple Market fourth quarter. Moon getting up a little bit slow, might have taken a hard shot there. Lineman for Altavista getting up kind of slow. I believe that's Elliott that's a little shaken up on the play.
It is Elliott.
Stay in.
Yeah, but he's a tough kid. He's not coming out. He is not coming out.
I'm not sure Coach Close is going to let him come out. We can hear Coach Close over here as their scaffold is right next to ours. Clock continuing to wind down. Boy, Colonel's taking a lot of time now. I don't know if the officials started the clock on time because guys are getting up slow, but I got to think they've about exhausted that 25-second play clock. See how quick Juan snaps it. He does get it off with no penalty. Swings it out to Michi Mall back on the pass. Michi's across the line of scrimmage. Hit up high. Man was around his helmet. I don't think it was a face mask. It was just sort of an awkward tackle. Michi goes down after gaining 3.
Yeah, that's all that 3rd and 5, Kyle, and that was a nice little play out to Michi. Good pursuit by Dan River, getting that play strung out and not allowing him to break downfield.
Break up 3rd and 5. Again, Altavista, really their play calling, you don't have to make the perfect play call here because you do have time on your side. You've got the ability to run or throw right now. It may be one of those pass-run options that Juan Thornhill has. 2 wide receivers to each side. Moon is to his right. He's going to put Navy Jones in motion. They fake it to him. Juan going up the middle. He's got some room. Cuts it outside. Outruns a couple defenders. Got plenty for the first down. Now he goes out of bounds again under his own momentum. Never went down. Nice running play by Juan Thornhill to move the chains and gain about 12.
Boy, he did a nice little fake where he acted like he was cut up inside and froze the defender, bounced outside, picked up enough to get the first down. The only bad thing is he did run out of bounds. 9:53 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 17-0. Colonel still lead, but they are starting to drive the ball.
Colonel's again. I don't know that it's been dominating, but it's been pretty close to domination since that second quarter on. It's hard to say you've dominated somebody when you only lead 17-0, but it's been pretty doggone good. Let's put it that way.
They certainly have controlled the ball game.
That's exactly right. Fake it to Malback, and then they give it to Moon. Moon had some room there. Good blocking on the right side by Teagarden and Brumfield. Moon just sort of got tripped up. Ends up being a gain of 2.
And a little bit different blocking scheme that time from the Colonels. A little bit of a trap, a little bit of a pull. Fidel picked up 3 on the play. He was hoping for more. He had a hole, tripped over the 45-yard line.
Well, in that line's defense, I mean, it's a good 45-yard line out there. This is not your grandfather's 45-yard line. 9 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the football game. 17-0. Dan River fans haven't left the building yet. They know this Wildcat team is capable.
It certainly is much quieter than it was earlier in the ball.
Well, that's true. They're not as vocal. They haven't left, but they're not as vocal. Ball back and go in motion. Flag comes out. Don't know if it's movement or somebody took too long. Altavista, again, they're taking their time, but, when you have the clock on your side, they're going to get them for a legal procedure, or motion, whatever you want to call it.
And we've seen more of that call this year against this Colonels team when they send that wide receiver back in motion or player from the slot in motion. I don't know exactly what's going on, but we've certainly seen it a bunch of times this year.
That's a good point. You do bring up a good point. We have seen it a lot more than we have in years past. I don't know if it's a point of emphasis that the officials are doing, or maybe it's something the Colonels are doing themselves. I'll bring it up with Coach Sean. This might not be one of those on-air questions, but I'll get to the bottom of it for you.
And it certainly could be a point of emphasis. That's a very good point as well.
Yep. Going to make it 2nd and 13. Malback this time goes in motion behind. They toss it to him. Pitch was a little bit high, but Michi pulled it down. Then Michi slips on the turf. We saw Edmonds do that once earlier. It's not wet from the rain, but I think the dew is starting to develop a little bit now as Michi falls down on his behind, on his own there. Ends up being a loss of about 6 or 7. Going to make it 3rd and another one of those bus rides.
Yes, 3rd and about 17. And clock continues to wind. Right at 8 minutes, 8:10, 8:09, clock continues to wind.
And that's the problem Dan River has, right? They're stopping Altavista. The Colonels have gone backwards the last 3 or 4 plays, but the clock still continues to run while you're doing that. And as long as the Colonels can hold on to the football, probably going to be in good shape. They hand it to Michi Malback. Michi looks like he wants to pass. It was pretty nonchalant. He pulls it down. Going to get stuffed out of bounds as he is hit there by number 17 from the Dan River Wildcats, and that is Mr. Javon Royal on the stop right there. Michi probably got it back to the line of scrimmage, not much more. Boy, you talk about slow playing it. Michi was almost walking there as he had protection to throw, but I think his man wasn't open downfield. It was designed to be a pass.
Yeah, Navy Jones was breaking downfield, but great coverage by the secondary. Dan Rivers stopped that play in its tracks. Michi did get knocked out of bounds. 7:49, the clock just stopped. Colonels lead 17-0.
Walker Allen on the punt again. He's had 3 really good ones so far in this football game that have really helped the Colonels' chances. I mean, you can't discount what Walker Allen has done. He's made the field goal. He's made the extra points. Good kickoffs and good punts. Snap is a little bit low, but Walker gets it off. Almost blocked, and it's going to take a nice Colonel bounce. Dan Rivers going to pick it up and try and return it. And that's Edmonds. He's a dangerous returner. Johnson's going to try and run him down. Look out. Johnson got hit hard. Bunch of flags out on the play. Terrell Edmonds is across the 50. He's across the 30. He's across the 20. Walker Allen is not going to catch him. As Edmonds takes it to the house. Plenty of flags out there, though, so it was hard for me to get really excited about it, Oscar. No disrespect to Terrell Edmonds' return, but I think it's coming back. That was on the flag.
That was a great play. And I got to tell you, Johnson, I believe, was the player that got hammered.
Another flag comes out here in the end zone as Edmonds took his helmet off. You know, if I'm the official, I don't know. It's hard to know from up here. Edmonds kind of gave him a pat on the back. It's like, yeah, I understand why you threw the flag. Edmonds is gassed. I mean, that was another one of those plays. He picked it up on the Altavista 30, returned it 70 yards, but that doesn't discount the 40 or 50 that he ran.
Well, and he picked it up on the far side. Getting back, you know, he had players closing in on it because it looked like the ball was going to go out of bounds, and he wasn't going to pick it up. He did pick it up, made a heck of a return.
Yeah. I mean, he ran at least 140, 150 yards.
I got to tell you, one of the Johnson brothers got absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
On a play. That one was not one of the plays that they called the flag on. So
yeah, that was actually a clean block. You're right. There was a block in the back somewhere in there, as there usually are on a lot of those long punt returns. Like I said, no disrespect to Terrell Edmonds. It was a fantastic return. It was hard for me to get too fired up about it because I knew there was going to be a flag.
That occurred at the 39-yard line. They'll mark off the 15, which will put it at the 24, and it'll be half the distance to the goal for the 15. It should put it at about the 12-yard line. A big play.
Yeah, big swing right there on the penalty. I mean, we talk about penalties. You got to feel for Terrell Edmonds, too. I mean, he's obviously exhausted. Puts every ounce of energy he's got into the return and takes it to the house. And then as soon as he turns around, he sees the yellow hankies on the field, and he's like, you know, gosh, what can I do here, guys? I mean,
yeah, but it's not a gray area. You take your helmet off, it's a 15-yard penalty, and he has to know that.
Yeah.
Ball is marked at the 13-yard line.
Edmonds, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. Edmonds had been playing quarterback. He's on the sideline, going to take a much-needed breather. I'm not sure he could even go in there and play quarterback right now. Zamar Anderson back under center. He's the one that started the game at quarterback. Right guard just kind of fell out of his stance there. I don't know if he jumped off or he just wasn't in a good stance and fell over. But it's going to be a flag on the Wildcats. It's going to back them up 5 more. Now they truly are in really dangerous field position, especially with the way the Altavista D-line's been coming after.
Yeah, first and 15 now from the 8-yard line. 7:24 remaining here in the ball game. Colonels lead 17-0.
Yeah, Colonels have not scored in a while, but they are firmly in charge right here, 17-0. They turn around and hand it to Stevens. Stevens has got a nice little gain. He looks like he's going to get it back to around the original line of scrimmage across the 10 to the 11. And whistle coming out, and it looks like Wildcats are going to take a timeout. We'll take it with them. Altavista leading 17-0. Just over 7 minutes to play here in the Apple Market fourth quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
High school athletics builds character, teaches teamwork, and provides a solid foundation for life. PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this sports broadcast for your enjoyment. PCM Industrial Services encourages everyone to come on out and watch the game. It's a great time for the whole family. Cheer on the Colonels. PCM Industrial Services, the industrial maintenance and construction specialists, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality craftsmen since 1986. Good luck, Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
7:16 to play in the Apple Market fourth quarter. 3 great locations to serve you in Altavista: Gateway, Main Street, and Riverside. There's always one close by. Make sure you stop in after the game tonight to get your weekend started right. Altavista's starting their weekend right. 17-0 they lead, but Dan River still got a chip in a chair, if you will. Always have a fighting chance. Anderson's going to drop back to pass. He's going backwards, and Johnson's got his hands all over him, dumps him in the end zone. Looks like a safety. No, the football came out, and Kamani Fitz recovered it for the Wildcats. Now, he dropped it there at the end of the play, and he actually got it back. I'm not sure if Zamar Anderson, the quarterback, wasn't down or not. That football came out, and Fitz recovered the fumble, rumbles it ahead for actually about a 1-yard gain. Strange play there, Oscar. Why don't you try and describe it?
No, I think he was down. The ball came out when he hit the ground.
Yeah.
But they certainly are not going to, what I say doesn't count.
Right. Darius Johnson dropped him in the end zone. It would have been a safety. 2 more points for Altavista, but the ball came out. Did it come out when he was on the way down or when he hit the ground? We'll never know. No instant replay. Anderson will take the handoff and roll out. Now he's going to run it himself. He's getting close to that first down marker. I think he stretched it out over the marker. He needed to get to about the 22, and it looks like he did. That should move to 6 on 4th down there. So it's looks like they're going to bring it out and measure.
They are going to measure.
Okay. That's on the far sideline from us, and again, our angle, we're not in the middle of the field like we are in most places. I'm actually set up right on about the other 30-yard line, so it's a far look down there. You got to give Zamar Anderson, the freshman, a lot of credit. He reached it out and tried his best to get to that first down marker. Let's see if his effort was good enough or not.
And again, they are marking the ball. They will bring out and take the measurement. Maybe.
Yeah, now they finally do bring the chains out. I think we can both agree on this, Oscar. Nobody from Dan River has quit. I mean, they've played hard. I don't think you can question their effort. Let's see. It looks like, still hard to say now. They're going to adjust the football and adjust the chain just a little bit. All that stuff. Got to get it straight.
Short.
It is going to be short.
And trailing 17-0 with 6:27, even though you're deep in your own territory, you got to go at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And watch for the hard count.
Yeah, he's not short by much, that's for sure. Less than a foot. They're stretching that chain out now. Yeah, it's like an inch short.
Yeah, it's less than like 3 or 4 weeks on the chain.
Right. So it'll be 4th and really, really short.
But we've seen some miscues between the center and the quarterback, but I'm sure he'll tuck up under. This will be a sneak, and they'll do a hard count and see if they can.
Yeah. Looks like Zamar Anderson under center. He's going to get his line set pretty quickly. There's the sneak. He looks like he's got enough. May have been some guys moving up front there for Dan River. I don't know that they were ever really set. No flag comes out, though, so they get enough for the necessary first down yardage, which, again, wasn't really yardage so much as it was inches. 6:10 to play in the Apple Market fourth quarter. And, again, clock continues to work against Dan River. I mean, they're getting first downs. They're moving the ball. It's just taking a long time, Oscar.
Well, after that big penalty, that took a ton of time as they had to.
Anderson back to pass, looking over the middle, looking for Terrell Edmonds. Ball's up in the air. He got knocked around. Michi Malback was there to knock it away. Also Juan Thornhill. Terrell double covered there. Not much he could do on that one.
No, great defensive coverage by Thornhill and Michi Malback. And if it had been either one of them, I think they would have intercepted the ball. Those two almost ended up fighting for the possession.
5:51 to play. 17-0 Altavista leads. This will bring up 2nd and 10. And again, you see why the Altavista Colonels wanted to get Dan River in these passing situations. No disrespect to the Wildcats, but the running game is their forte, not the drop-back passing game.
Yeah, and again, great job by the coaching staff, great job by the Colonels' front line, and great job by the secondary and shutting down. I mean, you had Dan River for the better part of this ball game to no points.
Oh, yeah, this is a high-scoring Dan River team. Quick swing pass to Terrell Edmonds. He's going to break it outside, runs through one tackle from Canavis Jones. Finally pushed out of bounds by Juan Thornhill. Juan gets a helping hand from somebody over there on the Dan River sideline. Help back up. Navy Jones had a hard time tackling Terrell Edmonds in space there.
And Juan coming up a little bit. He's ginger.
Yeah.
He's took pretty hard hit on his hip.
Well, Thornhill's, obviously lays it on the line every game. I mean, guy like that, he's got to feel like he's in a car wreck every Saturday morning when he wakes up. And you can say that about a lot of Colonels. Right. Under center now is Anderson. He hands it off to Stevens. Stevens will get enough for a first down. It was 3rd and 2. Crossing the 35-yard line, it looks like. 5:39 to play. 17-0 Colonels again. Time is just running down and winding out for the Dan River Wildcats. They're going to need to score quickly, and you said it's a 3-possession game thanks to the Walker-Allen field goal. They're going to need 3 scores some way, somehow. Anderson gets under center, barks out the signals. Swing pass. This time he gets it to Tremaine Edmonds. Edmonds is wrapped up around the side pads by Michi Malbeck. Good stop right there by number 1. Going to go with a 2-yard gain there after the hit. Clydell Moon in on it as well.
Nice open field tackle by Michi. One-on-one, closed quickly and was able to wrap him up. Only a gain of 2, brings up 2nd and 8. Clock continues to wind right at 5 minutes, Kyle. 17-0, Colonels lead.
This is what the Altavista defense needed to do. I mean, they shut down Dan River for 3 quarters. Now they can kind of just play the prevent soft defense and make Dan River earn their way down the field. Toss play here. Stevens going to work it up the field. He's got a first down. Dropped by Canavis Jones, who came in there from the backside after Juan Thornhill slowed him down. 12-yard pickup, though, for Stevens, and the Wildcats continue to move the ball.
And, of course, every first down you get in high school, they do stop the clock to move the chains.
You know, I think the key for Altavista is they're making Dan River matriculate the ball down the field. It's not the big play Dan River Wildcats that I think a lot of people have seen. I mean, you put up 55 on Chatham. There was obviously some big plays in there. Dan River working it down in bits and pieces this time against the Colonels D. Anderson pump fakes the short one. Now he's looking deep. He's got Terrell Evans. Can Evans pull it in? He cannot. Ball was a little overthrown, and that was a rare time, one of the only times tonight, Oscar, that Altavista secondary has been out of position. They've been on the pump fake.
Well, that was an amazing pump fake, and you're exactly right. That's what froze the defender. It froze Michi Malbeck and Thornhill, and if he'd have put a little bit more air under that ball, get a little bit more height on it, it would have been 6. I think that's a glimpse of the future for this Dan River team with the quarterback situation. He's going to be a good one.
Yeah, good hard pump fake on they were faking the short one to the flats. Malbeck bit on that, and really the rest of the secondary did too. Just couldn't connect on the deep ball. Same formation, I formation with a tight end left, 2 wide receivers right. Anderson looks over that defense, going to toss it to Stevens. Stevens outside. Montague was there to blow up the lead blocker, and then Canavis Jones and Darius Johnson there to blow up the ball carrier. Stevens, good team effort. He runs out of bounds. That does at least stop the clock. Short gain that time for the Wildcats.
Boy, Navy Jones got in there and hit Stevens hard on that play. He was the first one there. Brings up 3rd and 8, 4:21 remaining here in the ball game. 17-0, Colonels lead.
Yeah, I just can't say enough about the Colonels' defense. I mean, they're pitching a shutout so far. Whether they finish it off or not really is inconsequential at this point because they're making Dan River earn their way down the field. Wildcats, nothing has come easy for them tonight. Altavista stacking that line of scrimmage, passing play. Anderson looking deep, throws it to Michi Malbeck is there to intercept it. Another turnover by the Altavista defense, and Malbeck wants to take it to the house. Cuts it back. He's across the 30. He's going to cut it back across field. Nobody's really got a good angle on him. Michi slows down the hesitation, diving for the pylon, and he's in. Touchdown, pick 6, Michi Malbeck and the Altavista Colonels. Call that a 65-yard interception return, Oscar.
And Malbeck had some players in front of him. He put a juke on Stevens that absolutely froze him. What a play by Michi Malbeck.
Awesome play right there by number 1, Michi Malbeck. It was reminiscent of that touchdown run Juan Thornhill had where he started right, went to the left sideline, then went all the way across the field to the right sideline. How about that? Colonels have scored twice on defense here tonight. Doesn't get much sweeter than this if you're an Altavista Colonel fan. We talked about the bounce back after the tough loss to Gretna. I think you can check that one off your list, Mr. Briggs.
Absolutely, and we said, again, 4:02 remaining, 23-0. Walker Allen only kicked the extra point.
Snap back a little low. Juan Thornhill got it off the ground and got it to the block. Walker Allen, nice high kick, and it is good. Makes it 24-0 Altavista. Timeout on the field, 4:02 to play here. Colonels up big on 105.5 KD Country.
Nice win.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
24-0. Colonels extend the lead after the 65-yard Michi Malback interception. Oscar, we've said it once. Let's say it again. Since the first quarter, Altavista really dominant. I mean, they made some adjustments there. You know, obviously they made some at halftime, but they made some before that because really second quarter on, they've dominated.
Yeah, they dominated. They controlled. They dictated what Dan River had to do. Give some credit to the coaching staff. Yeah. Give some credit to the defensive line. The secondary's been stellar today. Boy, just a complete team victory, domination by this Colonels team.
Yeah, you know, and again, it's not to say Dan River has not moved the ball. I mean, don't let me mislead you there. The Wildcats have gained some yards, and you know, when you look in the stat sheet tomorrow, you're going to see some yards rushing for Dan River. And you got to take your hat off to Dan River for that. But Altavista's defense, I mean, bend but don't break. You know, they've allowed some of those rushing yards, but they haven't allowed the big play.
And let's reiterate, this is a team that hung 55 on a very, very good Chatham team.
Yeah.
This is a team that's ranked number 4 in the Eastern Region in AA. So
yeah,
this is a huge win for the Colonels. This will do a lot up for them with the power rankings. Getting out of that 5th spot, I think it'll make them climb a little bit.
Yeah, this is a very good Dan River football team for sure, and one that I don't think anybody wants to face in the postseason. Coach Edmonds going to call for another timeout. We'll keep it here since we just took one after the touchdown and the Walker Allen extra point. Yeah, 53-22 last week against a good Chatham Ball Club. Hung 61 on Nelson, 49 the first week of the season against BY. Beat a very good Magna Vista team. Magna Vista 4-1 on the year. That's the only team they've lost to is Dan River.
And Magna Vista's handling Martinsville tonight too.
Well, there you go. Hey, that's what the Subway postgame show is good for. We'll get you some scores, some other games in the area. Gretna was taking on William Campbell. Chatham at Nelson, I believe, in the other Dogwood District game. Do we still have a Dogwood District? That's an inside joke. Altavista here in this one. Say the other thing you got to think about is a bounce back on 2 levels. It's a bounce back from the loss last week to Gretna, but it's also a bounce back from the loss last year to Dan River. I mean, Altavista had high hopes to win that district title last year, and Dan River came in and squashed those. Give the Wildcats all the credit there. They played a fantastic game last year. Complete role reversal here.
And this is not the easiest place to play.
No.
The fan base is strong here. It's a little bit of an intimidating place to play, and the Colonels have just done an outstanding job tonight.
Yep. You got to take your hat off all the way around.
I don't have a hat on tonight, Carl.
I appreciate that fact, too. You know, you look better without a hat. 4:02 to play. We had some time to joke around a little bit there during the Dan River timeout. Coach Edmonds didn't like what he saw from his kickoff return team. Don't think he had the right personnel out there. Altavista ready to kick it away now. Walker Allen. Allen's got a field goal, and he's perfect on the extra points tonight. Boy, he's had 4 really good punts as well that have really helped the Colonels big in this game. Field position has been an important factor. Here comes the run-up on what will probably be his last kickoff for the night. You never know, though. This one's going to get fielded short by Lottie. Lottie's going to start up left sideline. He is hit hard. And Mavis Jones, I think it may have been Nelson Dews. Let's see who gets off that pile. May have even been somebody else. Fidel Moon was there.
It was
Who else you got? It was somebody else.
Different than not a name that we were going to call. That was Traquan Farmer, who made that nice stop down low.
Traquan Farmer. See, we told you it's a total team effort. Farmer was the hard stick right there. Altavista's tackling. That's impressed me tonight, Oscar. I mean, not to say it hasn't been impressive all year, but particularly tonight. I mean, they've really sound open field tackling.
Traquan Farmer, a freshman.
Well, team just keeps getting younger. Could never be any younger than you are today, though, that's for sure. I formation here for the Dan River Wildcats. 2 tight ends and 1 receiver. They hand it off to Stevens. Stevens trying to get ahead behind that left guard there. Not a whole lot there. He's thrown back. Navy Jones in on the stop. Darius Johnson there as well. Looks like Brother Demetrius getting off the pile, too. One Colonel getting up a little slow. Yeah, that was Claudel. Yeah.
And Claudel's been all over the place tonight. He hadn't gotten the number of carries that we thought we would see him with Destin out. But he's been a workhorse on defense as well.
Yeah. And we talked about domination. I mean, and again, I know Dan Rivers gained some yards. They picked up 3 right there on the running play, but pitching a shutout against Dan River, I think, got to be Altavista's most dominating defensive performance of the year. They haven't finished it off yet, though. Anderson rolling out. He's going to think about passing. He got hit hard. The football came out. Let's see who has it. It might be the Colonel. One official looks like he's saying that he might have been down. Hard hit right there.
I don't know who hit him, but he absolutely, when he hit him, he knocked him in the air, spun him. What a hammered hit that was.
I'm pretty sure it was Juan Thornhill. Montague was in on it as well. I think it was Juan that laid the big shot. Quarterback DeMar Anderson flipped up in the air. Football came out. I think it came out after he hit the deck. They called it a 1-yard gain, but boy, that's paying a heavy price for a 1-yard gain.
There was no way he was going to hold on to that ball the way he got hit. I mean, he got lifted. It was a violent collision. He got lifted and moved 6 feet.
Moved me up here. 2.5 minutes to play here in the football game. Colonel's up 24-0. Anderson going to stay in the game. Give him a lot of respect for that. Staying in after that hit. Going to throw the slant pass. It's complete to Tremaine Edmonds. He catches it and falls down. Going to be enough for a first down. Good slant pass there by the Wildcats. That'll give them a fresh set of downs, move the sticks. Clock will start up again once the ball gets set.
2:15 remaining here in the ball game with the Colonels leading 24-0.
Wildcats will scrimmage from the middle of the field. Gotta, again, not just saying this because he took the hit and he stayed in there, but you gotta like what the freshman Anderson has done under center. He started the game, then they went to some other guys for a little while. Now he's back in there.
He's a good-looking quarterback. He's going to be a force in this district for a while.
Altavista stacking that defensive line. They hand it off again, looking for number 5 this time. A little different ball carrier. That's Jaquan Durant for the Wildcats. Nice pickup by him. Wading his way through the Altavista defense for a gain of 5. And Durant's just a freshman, by the way, Oscar. Go ahead.
Yes, he is. And was looking to see if I saw Stevens in the game, and I didn't see him.
Yeah, I think we might have seen the last of some of the starters for Dan River.
Stevens is not in the backfield. Edmonds is not in the backfield.
Yeah. Edmonds is out here in the left slot, though. Let's see if Anderson wants to try to get it to him on a pass play. It is going to be a pass play, straight drop back for Anderson. Fadeaway pass, ball's a little high, incomplete. Davy Jones had a beat on it. Jacob Hawkins in coverage as well.
Moon in the area, Juan Thornhill in the area.
Yeah, the Altavista secondary, those guys, the secondary and the linebackers, boy, they've had some fun times out there tonight. And we've mentioned it. Every time that football goes up, they feel like they've got as much right to it as the offense, and they pulled a lot of them down on interceptions. I think they may have as many interceptions as other teams have receptions.
Yeah, and you know, that's such an athletic group. They close on the ball. They can elevate. They've got an extreme amount of speed. It's tough to throw against this team.
Really is. Anderson's going to get under center for the Wildcats. Let's see if he tries the same thing. Now he's going to hand it off this time to Ware. Ware, nice running there. Shifty spin move, still on his feet. He got hit hard by Juan. Juan couldn't wrap up. A lot of bodies flying all over the place. Boy, Malcolm Ware with a series of spin moves and then some shifty running. Anytime you can shake off Juan Thornhill, that says something. First down yardage for the Dan River Wildcats.
Yeah, Juan hit him hard, and he spun around and kept driving forward. Ball's at the 45-yard line. 101, under 1 minute now. Dan River's got to move quickly if they're going to score.
Yeah, only question I think now is if Altavista can maintain the shutout or not. Anderson wanted to pass, now he pulls it down, running right up through the middle of the defense. Picks up about 5 before he is dropped with an ankle tackle. Good coverage again in the secondary by Altavista. Give Anderson credit that time. He didn't want to just throw it up for grabs, so he took it down and ran with it. Smart play, even though clock-wise it's hard to deal with right now if you're a Wildcats fan. 30 seconds remaining in the football game, and this could end up being the last play of the game. I doubt Coach Farrell Edmonds wants to bother with a timeout at this point, down 24-0. Here comes the toss play. They get it to Durant. Durant moving around left sideline. Some good blocking out there. Hawkins going to try and hold on. They run him out of bounds, so the clock will stop, and the Wildcats will get another play out of it. Davy Jones, Jacob Hawkins, Ron Thornhill, Michi Ball back over there on the sideline to chase him out. 15.2 left. Altavista leading 24-0. Let's see if they can preserve the shutout or not on what should probably be the last play of the game here.
Yeah, you got to believe it is, unless they throw the ball. But if it's a running play, you got to believe it will be the last play of the game. And Coach Farrell Edmonds, I'm sure, doesn't want to be shut out.
Yeah.
But by the same token, the Colonels, I'm sure they don't want to let them score either. So
yeah, exactly. The immovable object versus the irresistible force, or one of those sayings like that I was supposed to be paying attention to in philosophy class. DeMar Anderson, under center here from the I formation, looking right, got a couple of receivers out there, throws it up, looking for Tremaine Edmonds. It's a little long. Michi Malvac was in coverage. It will not be the last play of the game as it falls incomplete and stops the clock with 9.4 seconds left.
Yeah, Michi Malvac had great position during that play.
Yeah. 9.4 seconds left. Dan River getting in the huddle. Both Edmonds brothers getting back to that huddle just a little bit late, and who can blame them? They were 30 yards downfield in the passing pattern. So they'll make their way back there as the Wildcats huddle up. Anderson going to stay under center, it looks like. Altavista's defense done a bang-up job all day, that's for sure. Pitching the shutout so far with the 24-0 lead. Here it comes. Passing play over the middle. It's completed. Altavista. Oh, boy, they had to make the tackle down there on the 2-yard line. This will stop the clock. Pass was complete to number 25, Dylan Waller.
And Farrell Evans had called timeout. He does want to score. He does not want his team to be shut out.
He does want to score. You're right. So there's the timeout from Coach Edmonds. Let's keep it here for right now, Oscar. And let's mention that the Subway pregame show may be somewhat abbreviated tonight because we need to break the scaffolding down so the guys from Englishes can get back to Altavista.
Yeah, the postgame show will even be shorter than the pregame.
What did I say? The pregame show will be abbreviated? Sorry.
That's fine. You know I wasn't going to let that pass.
No, you weren't. 3.4 seconds left here as Dan River taking the timeout. So, well, here's the situation. Altavista's got the shutout going at 24-0. You mentioned it. Dan River doesn't want to be shut out. Altavista wants to maintain the shutout. What's your play call here if you're Coach Edmonds? Do you like giving it to Terrell Edmonds and try and let him run to the 2 or 3 yards?
Yeah, I think you try to get him out on the edge. Although Anderson's done a good job when he's gotten out on the edge. He's shown some speed and some power. So, either way, boy, I just can't express to the people listening what a dominating, controlling ball game the Colonels played tonight against again, the number 4 ranked team in the Eastern Region in AA.
Yeah, they gave up some yards, and this has been a long drive by Dan River here. The Wildcats have really marched their way down the field, but it's taken about 9 minutes, and that was the key. Altavista got the lead. They just had to make Dan River work their way down the field. They've done that so far here tonight. Samar Anderson under center. He'll put Edmonds in motion. Lets him go through the formation. Looks like it's going to be a passing play. Throws, intercepted by Juan Thornhill. Juan picked it on about the 5. Let's see if he tries to take it to the house. He shook Jamar Anderson loose with the shake and bake move. This is going to be a 95-yard interception return with no time on the clock. 6 more points for the Altavista Colonels. That's the ball game. They're not going to make them kick the extra point. 30-0. The Colonels win. Subway postgame show when we come back on 105.5 KD Country.